right now. We're working on getting a stand. It's just been really, really crazy busy, and there is a lot for me to do. Okay. So let me get to work here because I got a lot to do and really don't have much to chat and talk about at the end of the day. I have to put updates in, which I literally forgot to do altogether. Man, see, this is the reason why I can't do that whole walk and chat thing. For now, if I do the walk and chat thing, it's just because I'm going to destination back and forth to do stuff at the end of the day. But this is the reason why I can't do the daily walk and talk because I really don't have the time to do it. Um, Let me get what I got to do over here first. Make sure I got everything set here. So basically, first things first, I should introduce myself if you don't know who I am. My name is Kenneth Burr. My company is Black Series Edition LLC. We don't mention the Crystal Wave Technology screen because, really? Couldn't do that any easier? Give me a minute. Because that site's being converted to a basically information site. That's what the Crystal Wave is being turned. We bought the domain name. Domain's going to match something with to do with the Black Series Edition, so they're all combined into one. So that's what we're working on right now. That's why I don't mention it anymore because it's being converted. Now, this right here is a dedicated Christian Cinemax, FLE dedicated Christian Cinemax. This is a screen paint we developed for churches. We had a church already go out and actually several churches go out and basically try it out and see how they like it. I thought that's the best way to basically, after we got done doing all our testing, the best way to basically have pictures for this thing, to have actual churches try it out, and they love it. I got some more videos coming in, more pictures coming in. Thank you so much for basically buying the product, and basically I'm happy that you enjoy it. So we got our churches up here showing you. At the end of the day, this is a screen paint for churches. It is. Probably some people will buy it for other things, but it's for churches. That's why it's called Dedicated Christian Cinemax. So we sell this in only certain sizes. It's only sold from 1 gallon to 5 gallons because that's usually what they order. The gallons only. They usually don't do the quarts with this. So we're setting this up right now. This is just about done. I'm going to go in and basically go into the search engine optimizer and change out what we need to do so this shows up online much better. I'm going back into the gunmetal page, get all that set up, get that done, get that ready to go. We got a customer for that already waiting to pick that up right now. Matter of fact, oh man, where is it at? We got it in here somewhere. Oh, it's over there. Okay, so we're going to send that over out to him because he's next. So he's going to be painting his up, showing his demonstrations, bringing it back to us and see how they look like. We already have somebody for the Apex Gamer. Already came in and said, hey, look, I'm going to buy the Apex Gamer. When you guys going to make it available? He's going to be the first one going out. Apex Gamer is actually launching next week. Yeah, because this will be done next week. Finish next week because it'll be done. We'll have that's what we're waiting for. We're waiting for the processor to come in. That's what I'm waiting for. Process won't be here until Tuesday because this is updating. So all that. And then I'm in here doing research on basically my next build is going to be the PS5. And I'm looking at basically I want to do definitely cool the M2 solid state drive. I want to cool it, so I'm going to liquid cool it. I actually are going to do in a bit of an experiment with this PC right here because you can't run 2 liquid cooling systems in your unit at the same time because they literally have to attach to a copper block on your CPU. So RetroPie made something called an ice pump that allows you to use a fan, a radiator, and reservoir to be able to cool down your RetroPie. But this also, you don't need to have a CPU, like a CPU to be able to, CPU block in order to get this thing to activate. It's just that unit by itself. So with that being said, maybe I can convert that to actually run off a hard drive independently by itself, which means I would not have to use 2 different CPU blocks in there. I mean, the only way it's going to work is you're going to daisy chain it. You know what I mean? You're going to run it from blah, 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 blah. But I don't want to do it that way because that's a lot of maintenance to do at the end of the day. You got to do basically, you got to put chemicals in there to be able to control corrosion and anything that may build up. You know what I mean? It has to be a constant, like nice flow to put these little fans in. It's a lot of maintenance to keep up on those things. I want something simple and easy. So we are going to put in an ice pump system. I'm going to test it on a hard drive. I have to make my own tubes, own clamps, because I'm pretty sure they're not going to match. And hopefully they do, but chances are they're not. And if this thing works, that means I can design my own reservoir, radiator, cooling system for a hard drive, because they're designed for the retro pumps, retro Pi systems. This works, that means I can administrate the same design to the PS5. Now what scares me about the PS5 is the PS5's hard drive is directly on top of that motherboard. Where on a PC, the hard drive is in a different section. So if something goes wrong, it's just going to damage that section. It's not going to be anywhere near my motherboard. And that's what scares me about the PS system, because the hard drive is directly on top of that motherboard. And if a leakage pops up or something happens, the motherboard will go with it. So I have to make sure it works. Other than that, if I can't get it to work, or if it does work and I'm still a little iffy about it, I'll have to daisy chain it. Which, again, is going to be a bit of some craziness. But anyway, all for the sacrifice of technology, right? So that's what we're going to be doing for the next build. The PS5 modification system, that's pretty much what we're going to call it. And the artwork we're going to do with it is going to be all fully cooling, because I'm a big fan of fully cooling. So that's the stuff I'm working on. A ton of research. So in between this and that right there, I finally found one on Amazon, because I prefer to buy from Amazon. You can see that right there is a water block for an M2 solid state drive. And if all works well, I can connect this directly on top of the PS5 solid state drive and run the ice pump system through it, independently cooling that down. Is it needed? I don't know. I tell you the truth, honestly, once we hook everything up in there with the liquid cooling system. But if it is having issues where separate compartments are having issues, like the guy was saying that he literally had to take his out and put on advanced version of heat shields on it, or what do you call them? Well, we call them heat shields either way, in order to be able to cool it down a little bit. So it must be having independently heat problems, which I'm going to get one of those guns at the end of the day that you can aim and it can show different heat pockets popping up, because I'm curious if it's having separation of heat problems here, maybe here, little pockets that are popping up. But taking it out of the case altogether, putting it in a nice bigger case, lots of airflow pushing through, that should eliminate that problem altogether. But these are pretty cheap. They're like 20 bucks. And that's pretty much it. So the next stage here we're working on is the RetroPie. The RetroPie has its own cooling system. This is the cooling system I have to get for the PC over here, because we're going to do that over here for see if it works. That right there is the RetroPie cooling system. Right there. If you can see it. So basically, you don't have to have a separate copper block for the CPU. You don't have to have any of that. It has a reservoir, it has a radiator system, there's the fan, there's your tubing that come out from here. I'm pretty sure the pump system and all that's in there. For the reservoir, you have to have a pump to push all that through. And there's your RetroPie. So imagine taking this off and reconfiguring it for a hard drive, a solid state, an M2 solid state hard drive. Oh, probably hopefully we get some people on YouTube get your wheels a turning on there, because I went and did some research and I hadn't seen anybody do this yet. So hopefully other people are doing it, because it makes it easier for people like me or anybody else like down the line. I mean, I'm going to do it already, but imagine somebody did this one already. That would make my job so much easier. Like, oh, somebody did do this already. Let me go do it. But we'll do it and see what happens. So it shouldn't be hard. People do it all the time. If the tubes don't fit correctly, you can always go and reconfigure your tubes. That's not hard to do. So if this works, then we got a whole entire liquid cooling, dedicated liquid cooling just for the hard drive alone. This is going to be beautiful. So that's what I've been here researching. So I got in at around 6. We didn't get on until 7, because I'm in here looking at this stuff right here, trying to think how we're going to do this all together. All right, let me get back over to my Wix account, because I got work to do over there. And right now we got the orders going out for my customers. They're all ready to go. So that's all been done, because we did it yesterday. That's the reason why I came work late last night, to get all the orders done, get those orders done, because when I come back in, I'm onslaught with more stuff. Like, I would have no time to get that done, what I had to do last night right now, on what I'm doing right here. That's why we burn the oil late at night. Okay, let me see. That's all finished. That's all done. Oh, and we got the PC completely stripped down now. We got it completely stripped down. Everything's out of it. It's all stripped down. We're right down to the board and CPU. That's basically about it. I had to put everything in the box over there, so I got that done off camera to get that finished and get that done so we can move on to that stage, because once that system comes in, I have to be ready for that. So a lot to do. And mind you, keep in mind, we're still this month are going to be working on interactive technology. So we're working on an interactive technology, new type of screen paint that allows you to be able to manipulate and works with the laser system. Same thing we use with the projector mapping technology, it has that capability. So we're going to be working with submersive technology. That's why I bought the tank over there. Oh, I forgot to show you the little square pieces of plexiglass we ordered. So we ordered 3 pieces of plexiglass. One's going to be for, well, actually, one's going to be for the submersive screen. And then I have to order another surface, and it's like something like 4x4. It has to be coated and sprayed. That's AdTech coming in here. AdTech's going to be displayed to the glass in here, so that way we can show to the owner and the people that are paying to have it installed in what it looks like, because they want to sample to see the stuff. So we're going to be doing that too also. Oh, we got a lot to do. A lot to do. And then on top of that, we got the hologram technology we're working on. We have that also too. And I got a buddy already set up, excited, as giddy as a schoolgirl with the new dress. Yes, and it's a whole lot of giddy. He cannot wait to see this stuff. As a matter of fact, I apologize. I got to send a message to him. I was supposed to send him all this information on AdTech. I got caught up in a couple of things. Get that done. See, this is the reason why we don't do the daily walk and talk. We don't have the time. That's why I deleted the video. It's a waste of time. That could have been sending the videos off that had to be done. I'm in the park talking about blah, 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 blah. There we go. That's the reason why. To me, at the end of the day, if it doesn't show progress, it's a waste of my time. That's why I delete videos. I look at them and go, that's a waste of time right there. It doesn't show progress. Just me talking about the same thing all over again. And I get tired of hearing it myself. All right, so let me get cracking Jackson, because I got a lot to do on my plate. And I got to be out of here by 9 o'clock. So guess what? Time is a ticking. And the Sandman is no joke. So things got to be done. This is going to be an interesting little travel today because, again, I'm at the office, and my office is near the airport. Now, why didn't I get an office in town? Well, there would be a problem with that because clients that will be coming in, it's much easier. All the hotel accommodations are on the outskirts of Allentown. They do have some within the city, but mostly if you're getting off the airport, you want to make it so it's convenient. That way, it's not really hard to find is once you come off the airport. Come off the airport, they can find the office, go in there, meeting office, the whole 9 yards, and then there's hotel accommodations all over the place. So I have to, everything I do, I have to take a lift to come back into the inner city to get work done. And there's no post office out there where we're at up here, so I have to basically get in, take all this stuff, drop it off at the post office, and then when I'm done from there, basically get all my business and everything has to be done because all my connections are down here, and hustle it right back up. And then when I'm done up here, I go straight back down into the city where my place is at and where the home front is at, and I go back and forth. That's my commute. And then I turn around. If I have all these boxes in here, which have to come out of here, we got to take all that down to the storage unit. So then I got to travel all the way down to the storage unit, drop all this stuff off, and then if we're processing any orders, then we have to go over to the warehouse section. There's a little small little warehouse we got for a good price. Go over there, set up, do all the paint orders over there, which I should have did all the labeling, which we have all that equipment for labeling. We got printers down there. We have our computers, all our stuff down there. There's small form factor machines. That's all we need to start printing it, so we don't have to really hype them up. But anyway, we got all that down there, so I can print and process all my orders from there and go from there to the post office. But I had business to take care over here. So I took all that stuff, carried it over here, and processed the orders late at night, and there you go. There's my life right there. A lot to do. That's why I rented all these places, because it makes it such easier for it to do all this stuff instead of having paper and boxes all over the place. But we're getting there. It's a process, but at least we're getting there, you know? All right, let me see. Search engine, search engine. We have to go to the search engine optimizer. Where are you? Do some editing there. Yes, save my changes. This is very important because what comes up in your header, you want to make sure people can see it. All right. No, we ain't got nothing in here. Okay. No keywords, nothing in there. All right. And this is fantastic paint for the churches because, again, the churches should have something for them. The black technology. This is not black, by the way. So you don't know that it's not black. It's got a strange color to it. But it's not black. It brings up the contrast because it does have contrast shifting capability to actually darken when the screen needs to pick up those heavy contrast levels. But it also picks up extremely high white levels, which is very important for a church because the church reads a lot of scripture and stuff like that. They're not doing movies and all that stuff, which requires massive amounts of contrast levels or any heavy gaming. So this is a whole different form of technology for them. And as you can see from the results, it came out beautiful. I like the fact that they took those pictures while the screen was being installed in, so that we can see it right there from the door. And thank you so much. I appreciate them. I contact them because I had supposed to talk to them yesterday, and I got caught up in business. And I literally forgot, so I have to contact them today. Talk to them about it and see how they like it. And mind you, that product is fully weatherproof. All our products are weatherproof. Well, not really. Some of them we declare them to be weatherproof. Most likely, they're going to be weatherproof, and they're ultra sure they're compatible, which is a definite must because again, when you're using a screen paint or projection screen, you should have the option to be able to change out your projector at will. I'm not saying, oh, well, guess what? I can't use ultra short though in this because it won't work with it. So I guess I got to go out and buy a whole new paint or a whole new screen in order to make it compatible with your ultra short throw. That's a bunch of crap at the end of the day. That's the equivalent of like buying a TV and finding out, well, you can't really use it unless you, well, guys, would be the same thing. Yeah, you really can't use it. You can use it. I use 720p projector, 720p TVs on game systems that were 1080p. Really doesn't change much at the end of the day, but that's like saying it wouldn't work at all. Like the screen would just be black and it wouldn't work at all unless you went out. So you would have to have a 1080p TV for your 1080p setup, and you have to have a 4K for your 4K setup, and you have to have a 720p for any of your older games because the TV just wouldn't work. But we know the TV is going to work, it's just the resolution's just going to drop a little bit, but it's not where you're going to be seeing like a real crazy difference. Because to tell you the truth, honestly, when I see people say we can see 4K, technically you can't. Technically, you're not seeing all those billions and billions of eyesight. You have the capability to do that. Your eyes are amazing, but technically, you're really not seeing all that. They just tell you what you can see. You're just really not seeing all that. You can tell for me at the end of the day, because the technology we engineer, I really can't tell the difference between 4K and 1080p because we've done tests on our technology on that. Now, if you're saying that from the door that your product shows a huge advancement over 720p next to 1080p and 1080p versus 4K, you're going to have to back that up. You're going to have to show actual videos, which you already had tons of videos on that, So we really can't tell the difference at all. And none of our customers can either. I have customers that have 720p projectors that we really can't tell the difference back and forth. All right, let me see. And also too with brightness, because we did 1,000 lumens versus a 5,000 lumen projector, all that stuff. Let me see what we got to do here. So we need keywords. I need church. Let me see, where's the other phone at? Why do we never keep track? With 2 phones. This is why I didn't get a third phone. Like, I really need that nightmare. It's bad enough trying to keep track of 2 phones. Imagine having 3 of them. We're so glad to get on site. We just have to get everything set up. It's interesting that when it came to the gamer technology, we literally had to build something. We have to build everything. We're building everything. We're rebuilding the PS5. We're building the retro system because we got that thing called Retro Rage, which I can't wait to upload these videos on this machine. And then we got the elitist PC coming in, which we're not going to have it built in time for Warhammer because that thing is going to take a lot to put together. I mean, the artwork, the design, everything we're putting into it, it's going to be insane. It's at least going to take me 2 months to do the artwork alone on it. At least 2 months. It is going to be insane. But anyway, at least the PS5 would be sufficient for what we need to do and what we have here. And this system we have here already can run Warhammer with no problem. I just wanted Warhammer on my Warhammer PC. Oh. That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted. But hey, Baby steps. Baby steps. And mind you, it has to be set up before Christmas because the holidays, because that Halloween screen at the end of the day does more than just Halloween displays. It does Christmas displays. It does Thanksgiving displays. It does all kinds of displays. We just market it for Halloween because it's coming around for Halloween. So we got a Colonial set up already to be able to go in and set the screen up and do some demonstrations from the back. It's a beautiful setting. It has a nice little colonial home, beautiful trees. I think we talked about this one already. I showed you that. I went and talked to them, dropped off a business card and everything. Oh, them business cards, boy, speak volumes. Everyone I hand one of those business cards, they just stare like, wow, never seen anything like that before. Yeah, because they're invisible cards. I got a couple of restaurants. Once I get everything done, the floors are done because we're still working on here for the cyberpunk design we're doing in here. We got two big screens we got to install in here. One on this wall, one on this wall. I have the projector for the floor. I got a projector coming in for the screen we're going to have over here. I decided because, well, let me do this at the same time we're doing this. I decided we can't attach anything to the wall because the wall is literally wallpaper print. So, you know those dividers that they have when they separate offices, we're actually ordering those. I can coat those and convert those into screens. They're something like 7 feet by 10 feet, so they're perfect. And then I can fold it up and just take it with me. So I'm going to put one on this side, one on this side. They're big enough for us to put 235.1, 16.9, 16.10, however we want to change it out. So I'm going to put a massive screen on this side. I'm going to show you, I'm going to hit the projector. I'm going to show you the size screen we're hunting for, about to get. On this side, we're going to do probably about, I'd say roughly about 100-inch. And then we have another projector that's going to hit the floor. It's going to produce the entire floor, which you saw in the video. I'm showing you some of the parts of the office we're doing. So that's what we're setting up in here for this. We're going to come in and see that. The desk itself is going to be all touchscreen. So we got that special projector coming in. We're going to have this huge piece of plexiglass. It's going to be coated with that new technology. We can drag and drop and manipulate objects right there. They can move stuff all around. That's the kind of stuff I want. So when we bring our investors in, they are literally walking into the technology. Not only are we talking to them about this technology, they're seeing it all around them. That's how you sell a product. Because again, you're going to have to prove this. You still have to prove this stuff actually does exist. And then with the building itself having ad tech sitting right directly on the window, they can see ad tech the minute they come in. It's right there. It's being used for a law office. So again, there you go. See how God set everything up? So they can see ad tech coming in. Someone's actually using it. They can go upstairs to the office and they can see, walk in, the floor is made out of koi fish. They can see it right there. They see the desk all computerized. They can touch and drag drops and play with the desk wherever they want. They can see our hologram technology because we got a section over here where it's set up for the holograms. It is going to be sick. That's what I said. So all I got to do now, walk into these bars, restaurants, all these sports bars we have down here, pass off my business cards. They can come down to my office and they can check out the technology, and that's where we can go to that little conference room downstairs and start nailing out those contracts. But you got to build it first. Now the churches, we got tons of churches down here, and on top of that, like I said, we're churches loving the screen paint because again, it's an advantage point for the churches. Churches spend a lot of money for their setups. And they always get ripped off. They get them to get this really high-powered, insanely expensive projector, and they give them a white screen. And what lie do they tell them? Oh, the projector is going to fix the problem. You get a more high-powered projector, you're going to see all your colors and contrast, and that's a lie. It's a big lie. And I got churches that'll contact me and say, look, we can't see anything. We turn the lights on, we got windows coming in, lights coming to the windows, the screen is gone. So, yeah, they get ripped off. So we're here to change that. We don't have that problem anymore. We even beating up my charger. Let me see. 100%. Ooh-wee. It's rare to get 100% on my phone. I'm always burning through it. So that's what we're changing right there with churches. And then if they want to do a company like Screen Innovation or one of them, you never see a gunmetal screen in a church. You know how expensive that would be for them at the end of that's a lot of money. You mostly, if you see elite screens, it's a white screen or a light gray screen. They're still having the issue. That's why they contact us. because we have that contrast shifting technology. It allows that screen to be able to read, and you see it right there. That's why I said at the end of the day that, and I'm sorry to bring this up in this conversation, but when you have people on YouTube talking trash about my business and saying that our products don't work, and I love it when we have customers who come in and show their testimonies on our products. It just shows you at the end of the day the bitterness, the hatred, and the jealousy that people have for our business because our products do work, and the campaigns that they spearheaded to try to destroy my company. And this is why I said at the end of the day, when this is brought to justice, when we finally get into that courtroom, this is going to be an open and shut case. All right, let me go over here and get what I got to get from here. I'm curious. Oh my goodness. Yesterday was Wednesday, right? Wednesday, I told you I walk a lot. Wednesday, we did 19,526 steps yesterday. Gee whiz Louise. I know it was kicking in some time, but wow. I had a lot to do yesterday. I usually reach over the 10,000, and that's what I try to do. Get over that 10,000 every day. I didn't reach it. I realized I was at 19. I could easily do the 24. I wonder where I have to go to do it, but I have to take a day off to do it. And I don't even have that right now. You know, it was interesting. God slowed things down when we're in the garage. He did. He slowed things down because we weren't ready for that yet. We needed to be in a certain place for him to give us that blessing. But sometimes the things don't happen right away because God is waiting for the right time to give it to you. It wasn't meant for us to have what he's given us now in that garage. What he was giving us in that garage is a technology to lay the foundation to be here. That's what he was doing. That's why we got the FLE technology and all that stuff while we were there. So once we're ready to leave that next stage, he started laying the foundation for the next stage. This is why I sit there and say that, you know, we got people out there at the end of the day, we got big companies, we got small companies, whatever, that don't like us. And they're just bent on trying to either out me as being this person or just trying to destroy my business altogether. And again, I'm here to tell you, it's just not going to work. God, I'm seeing my Lord's hand work. I'm seeing basically how he is blessing us to make it from level stage to stage to stage. I'm watching the doors being open and how people are receiving us and giving us the opportunity to get our products to the next level. And I'm happy about that, you know. So in the end of the day, through nasty messages and all that stuff, it doesn't discourage me. I know the devil tells you that it's going to hurt me, but I'm here to tell you it's not, because I serve God. So, no, not going to happen. All right, let's get to work here. Let me see. I need to... Come on. Where are you? Can't stand we can't find things in apps. I don't even use all these. I don't even know why I give them to me. I guess they figure other people are going to use it at the end of the day, but I don't use all this stuff. I keep it simple. I can't wait to get the interactive software. The interactive software is going to be fantastic. I've been trying to get into the school district system for the longest time, and we just happened to be, we walked in there, which I know a lot of people were at City Hall. A lot of people at City Hall, and I'm over there talking to a few people over there, and someone happened to pop in that has connections in that field. And she's like, I got to introduce you to someone. And boom, we have the information. So, oh my goodness. In technology, we're going to develop for the school district is going to be insane. I'm going to bring out the color paints. I'm going to bring out the color paints because we have a sky blue color screen paint. It's gorgeous. What I want to do is I'm going to build my own screens. I'm designing my own screens for kindergarten classes and stuff like that. We can shape these screens into anything we want. Anything we want, we can shape them what we want. But I want to do a sky. Oh, I should build one here. I should literally build one here for display because we can have them come to the office. I should build one. I'm going to design this screen for basically for kids. And we can make it touch screen activated. That would be really cool to do that. All right, we'll work with this. I got something I want to design. It's going to be pretty cool for the kids, for the kindergarten, for the kids. So we'll work on that next. Wow, man. I got to get up a chalkboard. I got something to write all this stuff because we got so much stuff we're working on. It's not even funny, but that would be fantastic. Yeah, I got some ideas right there for that. Okay, something for the little tiny monsters. Let's get started on what we're doing here. Okay, so we're going to put in Bum, 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 bum. Church, 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 church. I can't wait to do the floors for them. Oh, they're gonna have a ball with it. We're going to do a mat system. So the mat systems are fantastic because they can be taken up, yoga mats, they can be rolled up, and they can be interactive. You imagine the kids running around trying to, oh, the crush blocks. We should do something with crush blocks where they jump on them and the blocks crush, or the floor is lava. That would be so much fun that they stay on the path and the path breaks down. Oh, there's all kinds of games. So I have friends of mine that are programmers that basically can program all this stuff for me. Because the guy was like, yeah, just send me over the software, whatever you need at the end of the day, and blah, blah, blah. And we'll design whatever you want. We can put it there on your projector to be able to do this, which would be cool at the end of the day. And teach kids learning on top. They can have a lot of fun with it at the same time. And who knows what kind, at that particular time, kids' minds are constantly developing at that time. Can you imagine the thing, what I like about that is the fact that, can you imagine what kind of person you're creating at the end of the day? They could develop the next big thing. You never know that. That's why you have to introduce your kids to museums and classical music and all that stuff, because you never know what you could basically bring to the world. Think about that. Think about all those inventors who invented all the technology you have before you right now. They were kids at one point, right? So somewhere along the line, something sparked inside their mind, and they just came up with these fascinating ideas and thought, wow, that would be incredible if I made this. And because of their dreams and their ambitions, you have your technology you have today because of them. So, yeah. I'm pretty sure the Wright brothers, I love studying the Wright brothers. I'm pretty sure they were sitting out in the field and they saw these birds flying by and they thought, wow, kind of cool if man could fly. And now you can get on an airplane and zip, 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 anywhere you want to go. So yeah, you got to think about the big picture of it all. For me, it's much more than just screen paint at the end of the day. It's a much bigger picture than that. It's the ability to be able to change and alter things for the better. That's what it is. Now, yeah, people use basically inventions that are made for better things to turn them into things that are worse things. Like, like someone came up with the idea for basically nuclear powered energy to be used as a way of another resource of powering cities, and someone turned it into a ball. Yeah. So anyway, you're always going to have someone's going to manipulate and turn it for bad, but you got to think about it. That's why my mom always took us to museums and all. So we went up in the museums, up in the plays and all that stuff when I was a kid. And yeah, my brain was always sparking off. So yeah, take them to places like that. You never know what you're going to introduce to the world. So, wow, my kid invented this. So what he invented could make lives easier for other people. All right, let's get started on this. Okay, so we got church. You have to put a comma there. Oh, no comma. Perfect. Church and projector screen. That should pretty much sum it up. Because when you put in projector screen, it reads it as 2 words or 1 word, which is good. Projector screen. So you don't want too many words in your keyword because then it confuses. You want to keep it simple. So church and projector screen. That's it. That's all you need to put in there. Boom. Like if you're doing for home theater, just put down home theater and then basically put down screen or home theater projection screen. Either way, it's just want to keep it simple. All right. That's done. Let's go to our basics here. So basic, this is right here. It's got the church right here. All right, 1 gallon, it's right there. Christian Cinemas right there. And then we have to put down a description. This comes up on your search engine, what it is. So we have here, can we copy and paste on this? I love we can copy and paste. We can, they changed it. Because before they made it where you couldn't. Oh, let me see. Our new FLE projection screen paint designed for churches. For churches. And they spelled my FLE incorrectly. That's FLE. FLE. Imagine your kids coming home and all happy and get like, Mom, I walked across lava. See what I mean at the end of the day? Stuff like that, you know what I mean? Or they got a chance to see the fish. They can pull back the water and they can see the fish moving. Oh, I'm telling you, the cool stuff they can do with that. My buddy's a programmer, man. He does some crazy stuff at the end of the day. He's like, man, yeah, let me know. Let me know. I'll design some crazy stuff for you. Oh, that'd be cool. I can't wait. So who knows? That's why you should get him into reading. Video games are fun and all, but they should read. Like my sister got her kids when, now they're grown now, but she got her kids where they couldn't play the game system unless they read a book. So you had to read certain chapters in the book every single day, and then you can play your game system. And then they got to a point where they were just less on the game system, they were just more in books. And I don't even play game system at all, they just read a lot of books. And that's the one that became a brain surgeon, and the other one became an engineer. Now, I'm not saying video games rot your brain, and they really don't, because I'm a big-time gamer myself, you know what I mean? But as long as you can push them in a direction where they can use it to make some money off of it. All right, let me see. Because not everybody's going to make it as a streamer, YouTube streamer, and do that and the other. Then they can find something they can do with it. You know what I mean? Get them into building computers and modding and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Let me see. FLE. And it's supposed to be R. It's not supposed to be ARE. It's supposed to be... Oh, get out of here. Oh. Now, if you're going to get them into that kind of work at the end of the day, you want to make sure that before they can get on their system, that they're going to have to go outside and play a little bit. Get them into some basketball, bike riding, whatever, some kind of active sport at the end of the day. Because again, sitting behind a desk all day long and basically programming and eating can have really bad effects. So make sure you get them active where they're actually working out, and that way it will keep a treadmill in their setup or some kind of workout equipment, so that way they can constantly keep their body in shape or try to stay in shape. The last thing you want to do is just basically accumulate obesity while you're being obese while you're stuck behind a computer all day long. You don't want to basically start that one. Truck drivers go through that. I got a friend, not all say all truck drivers, but I got a friend of mine who's a truck driver, and they have problems with blood clots and problems with their hearts and legs and stuff like that because they sit behind these machines all day long and they drive from endless hours to here and there and there. So I got this cool idea, but I can't tell you about it. So it's something I'm working on basically to make life a little bit more easy for the truck driver. And I got a couple friends of mine that are big time truck drivers that have some really heavy weight on them. Do you know what the teddy bear, the stuffed animals stand for on the front of the grill of the truck? There's a meaning behind that. So if you ever see a truck driving by that has one of these teddy bears or whatever it may have tied to the front, that means they accumulated 1 million driving hours. That's what it stands for. I couldn't understand that first. I was like, why in the world do you have these weird stuffed animals in the front of the grill of your truck? And a friend of mine is a truck driver, just happened to ask him, I said, what's that for? And he was like, oh, that person right there reached a million miles. I think it's 1 million miles or something. It's something crazy like that on their truck. That's crazy, ain't it? So anytime you see somebody like that, I always say, congratulations on your 1 million mile. And he just kind of like, give me a check off. Yay, thank you. That's what it stands for. All right, 1 million miles. That's insane. FLE projection screen paint designed for the churches. Designed, dedicated. We'll fix all that in there. Let's get this in here. Let's get this over here. Design to improve and enhance. Improve and enhance. Improve and enhance. Let me clean it up a little bit. All right, let me see. Our FLE projection screen paint. Clean it up a little bit so it sounds more professional. All right, let me see. Cats are on, are they? No. Paint. It's designed, but we have this separation in there. It's supposed to be a separation right here too on top of that. I'm working on getting me a stand for the camera. I'm working on it. I'll have one soon. Let's see. And we got an eye in there. See that underscore? You can't see it. Well, I'll show it to you. See right here. This is how you know if you're writing something incorrectly, because you get an underscore up there that pops up. So it'll tell you at the end of the day, like, hey, look, you know, you're writing this wrong. At the end of the day, go in and fix it, because you get the underscore that pops up. All right, still there. Oh. All right, there we go. All right, now let's get you two together here. All right, our FLE, and we got too big of a space where the FLE is at. Our FLE projection screen paint. FLE. And name the product. FLE dedicated. Nope, you missed that one in there, buddy. All together. Dedicated. Christian. Christian Cinemax projection screen paint. It's designed for churches. Two. Let me space there. To improve and enhance picture quality performance. Picture quality performance. Enhance picture quality performance. Even in a period. I think that's fantastic. That's going to show up on Google everywhere. So we have down here, we put down our FLE Dedicated Christian Cinemax Projector Screen Paint is designed for churches to improve and enhance picture quality performance even in a well-lit room. Okay, that sounds fantastic. I like how that sounds. Everything else is here, so that'll show up on Google right there with no problem. And we don't have to change it out. That's going to show up on the header right there. The URL right there. It's going to show up right here. Perfect. That shows it right there perfectly every time you type it in. All right, and what do we have for social media? Oh, it's right there already put there. Yeah, thank you, Jesus. He put it right there. Look at that. It's right there. So every time we show social media, that emblem pops up every single time. That's where you want it. All right, let's go and save. So that's all done. So it's ready to go. Now, when our churches contact us, or anyone's doing a church at the end of the day, we have here customer pictures up here showing up, and we're going to have more to add to this when we contacted another church. Make some videos, and if I can get some more pictures to put up here also too, so you can see their results. And that's how I want to do a lot of my pictures now. We are going to do some stuff because some of our stuff is a little different. I got to build a halo bar. I forgot about that. I literally have to put this thing together for the halo system because we want to show off the FLE capability technology on that one. And then we have this new stuff coming up, but that's for 2025. I got people already asking for the glass screens for 2025. These are not customers, these are companies that are asking for the new technology. They've been to the website. They went over going to Sugar Plum Fairy, the Leviathan, all that stuff. It's coming. It's just basically we have to pace ourselves. I'm still working on the theater on the go. We have those we're working on. We have so much stuff we're working on. So, you know, this PC over here and parts over here is not just for just my old happy gaming fun. This thing is being developed for an Apex Gamer for Ace Screen Paint. We're engineering it for. And I got a couple of real serious hardcore gamers and some softcore gamers that we're going to give some stuff to they can test out and see how they like it. Okie dokie, okie dokie. Now this is done right here. This is all ready to go. So we can basically put this on the site right now. Let's go save this. There we go. And that is now added to the site. So we have this in 1 gallon. And it goes up from 1 gallon to 5 gallons. When we reach the more larger gallon, this is where invoices come in. We do those by invoices only, which I should put that in there real quick. I should put that in there. Let's put that in the page here at the bottom. Let's put it right here, and let's put down available. Let's get available mixed up when I'm writing this thing. Butcher that by any chance. I always butcher available. That's enough by heart. Let me see. Available. Available. No, not gullible. Available. Oh, seriously? Okay, that's it right there. That cinnamon, I got the cinnamon air plug-in. Oh my goodness, man! Like right now, I'm craving pumpkin pie. I think that was a bad idea to get the cinnamon. I should have got something else. I'm gonna go back to Bed Bath & Beyond. There's a big difference. My sister was not joking about that. So I'm glad if I'm saying that correctly. It's good. It gives off a nice scent, but those things at the end of the day are freaking amazing. Man, they're fantastic. I'm gonna get a couple of those for the other work spots. They smell incredible. Like, she was no joke, because she was like, yeah, you don't want to go to Glad A, you want to go to Bed Bath & Beyond and get those over there. Oh my goodness, they're insane. Oh, I got to tell you about this. Now, you know how they said malls are dying? Yeah. Have you seen Allentown's mall before? Yeah, it's crowded in there. It's literally crowded at the mall. It feels like when you walk to that place, it feels like 1980 when you walk. That's how crowded it is. When I get time, I'm going to walk through the mall, and I'm going to show you how crowded this place is. I was shocked when I walked in there, because usually, you know, I watch these documentaries on dying malls. You know, Franklin Mills is gone. It's not the same way. There's a lot of malls, and the gallery really isn't like that like it used to be. But this mall, at the end of the day, is crowded. I haven't seen anything like it before, but I got to show you a walk through that place. You're going to be shocked. Like, you got to be kidding me. I can actually run the business. My sister was talking about you should open up a store over in the mall. And I was like, why open the mall? Malls are dying dinosaur. I mean, they're going out of business because of all the Amazon and everything. Not that one. It's thriving like crazy in there. So, got to get me a little setup in there. I can imagine those screens in there. They're going to look absolutely insane. If I'm doing a screen in there, well, I want 2 spots. I want one of the stores, and I do want a showcase area out in the open, because then I can put in a rear projection screen in there. That'd be hot. A black rear projection screen. That'd be sick. Now that would be a place to put ad tech in. Ad tech in the middle of the mall, about 200 inches, super straight black, with interactive software attached to it, so people can come up and touch and drag something. That would be a place to put ad tech. That'd be a fantastic place to market it. Now, somebody brought up about the shows they have in Vegas, the trade shows, and we're looking at, we might get a sponsor to take us over there to show off that technology. But yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. When I saw that mall, I was like, are you freaking kidding me? We got this many people in this place? Yeah, I'm gonna put an ad tech screen in there. Did a floor projection too on top of that. And then we can redirect them. This thing will pop up and redirect them where our stores are at, and they can go in there and buy. Or our website and all that stuff will pop up. So it'll be just one big, huge advertising technology right there. for everybody to see. Now, like I said, in that area, we're not going to have direct sunlight making contact with the screen, but the fact that the screen can absorb sunlight, that means that that area is nothing for it. So that's what we're going to do. That's what I saw when I was sitting there eating the pretzel, and I was sitting there looking around the environment like, oh my goodness, do you have any idea how much money AdTech can make in a mall? We stick that piece of technology out in the middle of the floor. Every single store in that environment is going to want AdTech attached to their glass to advertise. And if this thing, like I said, absorbs sunlight outside easily, inside is an absolute cakewalk. Now you see the big picture of what we're doing with AdTech. That's why we have investors that are willing to give me millions of dollars to be on board with it, because they know that they're going to make a ton of money with that technology. That's why every door we walk through, people are just laying down to give us whatever we want because they want to be a part of the AdTech. Yeah, that's what I saw when I was sitting there eating a pretzel, just staring at everything in the environment like, wow, look at this. Yep. And it's funny because the person sitting there with some cargos and a t-shirt with some hikers on, chewing on a pretzel, there's a person that's sitting there that's going to develop all the technology in there, and no one knows who I am. And I like it that way. That's what I like about the kid that I told you about. My buddies were going to the studio to record some music, and they had their big medallions on and rings and the fancy cars and expensive clothes and stuff, and looking like $1 million. And they walked in there, and this kid in there was turned over sneakers and ripped up jeans and a dirty t-shirt, and he's in there sweeping up the floors. And they weren't being mean to him. They were saying, hey man, if you want, I'll get you some new Air Jordans, and I'll, get you a couple of rings if you want. What's your ring size? They were just being nice to him. They were just joking around with him. But he just laughed about it. He was the owner of the studio. The very studio that they need to go in to get their album cut or whatever they had to do at the end of the day, he was the owner of it. He owned the entire building. He made millions of dollars. But you didn't address it and you didn't see it. Some people don't care about that kind of stuff at the end of the day. You don't see Bill Gates and Elon Musk coming out there with all this stuff. No, you don't. That's what the rapper realized. When he sat on that boat, he said, I got on this boat with all these freaking millionaires, and they were just dressed like regular people. They were just based at the end of the day. They was listening to their conversations about what they invest their money in. They invest their money into real estate. They invest their money into art. They invest their money into all kinds of things at the end of the day. They invest for the future, not for the now, not for the showing off what you have. They don't do none of that, no. They want to show up to buy a yacht at the end of the day, but they have the money for it because they invested in things that are going to bring the money right back to them. That's why the money we make, I don't go and buy all this heavy, expensive stuff. I go invest it back into technology that we need, basically, at the end of the day, that's just going to advance my company to the next level. And just think about it. If I had sprayed that AdTech to that glass in that building, the Lord knew everything was going to happen. He knew about the trolls. He knew about the people that were in the building that were going to do us dirty in the end. He knew all about that. And that's the reason why that everything happened for a purpose. All right, let me see. I need a charge here for my phone because I am killing my phone. Oh, charge. How am I going to do this? Charge in at the same time? I don't know. Honestly don't know how we're going to do this. It's a good thing my screen's on a slant. I can't hold the phone and do this at the same time. Let me see. Meow. 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 Alright, guess I'm going to have to. The phone gets a good charge into it. Let me see. Alright, all that's done. Search engine, all that's done. And I have to put down available. Okay, available. Yep, I was sitting there, my sister was like, what you thinking about? And I was like, And the Lord's talking to me. Available. So that's what we want to do.
Here's the definition of available. Able to be used or obtained at someone's disposal.
Tell me. Yep, everybody will be staring at that screen at the end of the day. The gaming technology, yeah, we're going to be launching that in there too. On big screens. So we'll get a store set up in there. We can use that area to advertise our technology. Every store in there is going to want ad tech attached to their glass. And we got Foot Locker in there. There's all major chains in there. So all those major chains, those are heavy, serious contracts that we hit into. What better way to get the attention of Apple than to be in an actual store where Apple basically is being sold at? So we put their logo up there and show that display like we did to that glass. Yeah, there you go. They're going to want that same logo display of that Apple breaking down on their own glass. They can advertise all their phones, their entire product lines, commercials, whatever they want. Anything new come up, they can pop it right to that glass. You know how big a contract is for Apple? Yeah, big contract. Foot Locker, McDonald's, Versace, all them big companies, all that stuff. So that's why I told you at the end of the day that ad tech is going to be a maybe billion-dollar technology. Let me see. Come on, Bird, get it together. We got things to do, and it's already 8:18. Come on, get it cracking, Jackson. Let me see. Yep. Now, most people would just stop and say, hey, look, we got enough technology. We should be happy with that. But no, we got so much stuff we got to work on. It's not even funny. So many things I want to change. And then outside of this, all this with screen paint, there's another half of what I like to do. I like to study the whole ecosystem. I'm freaking fascinated by that, by basically just using natural resources for energy, like, you know, for rainwater and basically the sun, all that stuff. I love that stuff at the end of the day. Making your own fertilizer, pretty much to make better food at the end of the day. I mean, all kinds of stuff I like to experiment with. So that's why I want to get a farm. Why get me a farm with a nice waterfall and a good amount of water flow? Oh man, we can design all kinds of cool stuff with that. So I'm into this whole thing about hydroelectric energy. I'm big on that. Just imagine that. The water that falls from the sky is energy. What you drink is energy. You're drinking energy. You are energy. I love that stuff. Let's see, available in available in, let me see, we're gonna put down 4. No, sorry, you're missing one there. You're missing a couple in there. Available in 2 gallons, 3 gallons. Let me see, 4 gallons and 5 gallons. Now we can do 10. We can do 10. So we're going to put that 4. And this is for 10 gallons. Put down. Through PayPal. Oh, what did we just hit? PayPal invoice. PayPal invoices. Let's make sure. Invoice. I mean, the first time I did an invoice, I was so happy. It's my first invoice for my company. I'm like, yay, I got an invoice. I did an invoice. I was so happy over that. Getting your first invoice. And some people say, it's not a, I remember my first order. I remember my very first order through Digital Crystal Screen Paint. And I remember my customer from the first order I ever received. Actually, I still had the same dollar. I had the dollar from the first order my company ever made. I'm supposed to have that. I got it framed. Oh. Now, what I want to do is, first thing I want to do, we got that, oh, forgot, we got that virtual fish tank technology coming up for basically allowing you to turn anything you want into a crazy tank. So basically, it's a screen that you could drop into a tank, and you can pretty much project the map, whatever you want, project, and whatever you want right through it. So this allows you to put in massive coral reefs, whatever you want, and these screens are flexible, which means they bend. Which means if you want to curve it out where it looks like it's coming at you, you can do that. You can put anything you want in there. Some people are saying, well, at the end of the day, I can just put fish in there. But you can't put mermaids in there, can you? Can't put a kraken in there. You can't put in, you can put in the city of Atlantis, but with this, you can design anything you want. And if you understand, if you're doing a coral reef, do you have any idea how expensive it is to maintain a coral reef? It's very expensive. So you're going to have, if you have a big enough tank, you're going to have a professional scuba diver go in there and basically maintain that thing for you. It gets very expensive. Now, say if you're a big company, you got the money. But what if you're a mom and pops and you don't have that kind of money at the end of the day, but you want to have that kind of display? So you can imagine your customers coming in and you got this huge tank. Now, the tank doesn't have to be big. You can make the tank about that thin. The screen, when it slides into it, is what they're really going to see. The water effect is what you want to see wrapping around the screen. So the tanks don't have to be wide and huge and have to hold tons of water, because the fish tank, the screen inside of it, is doing all the work. So basically, you can have customers come in and you can watch mermaids swim across your wall while you got this water effect. I would say put a bubble system in there too to give off a nice effect. Waving hides the customers, all that. Man, Disney is going to get a kick out of that technology. Now, what I saw already from the Da Vinci setup, they got this massive piece of glass in the front. I'm going to put a Megalodon in that sucker. Can you imagine that? You've seen this giant shark move in the background like we did with the ghost on the screen, and it just comes up and goes bam right into the glass, and you can see the water pouring down the glass. A screen can do that. That's the ad tech can do that technology. Yeah. You got to think of the crazy stuff that you can do with it. You got to think outside the box. The problem is that people have been hit with limitations of being stuck in dark environments. You get a projector, you're stuck in this dark environment. You can't turn your lights on because your screen will wash out. And if your screen's going to wash out in that environment, you can't project it to a table, you can't project it to a ceiling, you can't project it to a floor, and you sure enough can't take it outside. And in your commercial environment, that's going to be a no-go. But we changed all that from the door. Now you can take it anywhere you want to go. I can go outside with a 1,000-lumen projector and make a cardboard box look just like a TV. There you go. How many people can say that at the end of the day? We can do it. Matter of fact, I got cardboard projection screens coming out because I'm testing my own form of waterproof formula to allow the cardboard surface to keep it from deteriorating from outside elements. So I'm working on something in one of the labs over there. I call it my lab. And basically, I have these solutions that I'm designing, those pieces of cardboard, that I'm actually testing in all different types of environments. Well, we got a freezer in there to freeze one piece, and we got another part for extreme heat. And then we got another part where it actually has it dumped in a dunk tank. See exactly how long. And they have to sit there for at least about a year before we can actually launch it. So we know 100% that this thing can take the abuse. Like when people ask me about weatherproof technology, other people sit there and say, well, screens go outside. Do they really go outside? Have you had a screen sitting in your backyard for 1 year? Because I did. Because a 250-inch screen isn't exactly the type of screen that you take down and put back in and take down. It's a big screen. That screen sat out there for 2 years. And the weather conditions we had up there, we had cold, we had rain, we had sleet, we had heat waves that went through. And that thing stayed intact. So I can clearly say at the end of the day, yeah, we know weatherproof technology. We had screens that have been outside for years. At 250 inches, which you mean nothing can miss that thing. So when you have a smaller screen, yeah, it's still going to take the abuse, but at 250 inches, nothing's going to miss it. So yeah, that screen froze to the point where it was like a piece of sheet metal. When I went outside to hit it, it was like a piece of shit. It was frozen solid. So I know what our technology can do. So that's why I said, people, be careful when you sit there and say our stuff is weatherproof. You really can't say that unless you have a screen outside for 1 solid year, so you can see exactly and take on all the elements of the changing of the seasons. That's why I found out about fixed frame screens. Can't take fixed frame screens outside. They have issues if you take them outside. You paint over a fixed frame screen, what happens is that the sun, if you have a fixed frame screen and it's laying against the wall, as long as there's no sunlight hitting the back of it. If there's sunlight hitting the back of it, there's going to be an issue. So what's going to happen is when that sun hits the back of your screen between that PVC and your paint, what's going to happen is you're going to build up a kind of like, it's going to heat up. It's going to become really soft. That's what's going to happen. Now, that's not going to take away from the elastic stretch on it, but it's going to make it soft. And it's going to build up moisture between your paint and between the PVC, which is going to cause these little bubbles to pop up. Little bubbles will pop up all over your screen. And that's because there's air pockets that form in those particular areas because of the steam that's pushing through. You got heat transferring constantly through your screen. So, what cures that thing? Well, I can't tell you what cures it, but at the end of the day, what happens is when you get those little bubbles that pop up, if you go in and you take your pen or whatever, your screwdriver, and you pop those bubbles, now you got this moonlight crater staring you in the face all over your screen, which means you're going to have to scrape all that off because you can't paint over it because you're going to have this little lumpy, kind of rigid look to your screen, and you're going to have to either just destroy the surface and just start all over again. So if you notice that we had a lot of fixed frame screens laying across a large window in the house. Do you have any idea when I would walk past that, I could literally feel the heat transferring through the glass and hitting me through the screen? Did you notice we never had any bubbles, anything pop up at all? Yeah, because I figured out how to fix it. Because I had a window right there where I had my screen at. Yep, learn some stuff. You learn things at the end of the day. And this is why testing is extremely important, because if you don't test your stuff, if you don't put it through testing, what's going to happen is what could have failed in tests and could have been fixed will now fail in front of a customer or other people, and this is going to hurt you. This is why I warn people about that. People just want to skip all that. I already had somebody say it. I'm not going to bring them up because we're taking care of that already. Well, we got it already recorded of him saying it. That's the customer's test the screens. Can't do that. You have to test them. Let me see. So everything's here. We got the search engines done. I'm gonna save this right here. That's finished. Let's go over here. This is the gunmetal technology. Where are we up now to how many different formulas we have on here now? Let me see. It's the gunmetal. And I got one of these going out to a customer already. 64. Let's see. Now, we've developed tons and tons of gunmetal technology. And we know what we're doing at the end of the day because we've been doing it for a long time. And gunmetal technology, we engineers designed to take out actual gunmetal. This is why I can't express enough. You can't say at the end of the day that I have gunmetal. You don't have gunmetal until you take out a physical gunmetal screen. And I'm not talking about one. I'm talking about at least 17 of them. You can't take out 17 of those screens. And I'm not talking about just the 17. I'm talking about they have an ultra-short versions of them too. So they have an ultra short version of these screens. Like we got one here on daylight screen. We got an ultra short version and we got the long throw. For elite screens, they got an ultra short version and they got a long throw. I'm pretty sure Diamond has an ultra short version too also. So you really can't really make that statement that your product's better than gunmetal if you haven't really tested your product against gunmetal. And you'll have to do this in fully lit environments. You can't take a gunmetal screen with a 0.9 and 0.8 and stick it in a dark environment. First of all, what are you doing in that environment to begin with if you're claiming to have gunmetal technology? Because gunmetal screens can absorb more light. So why are you in a dark environment, the same environment that a gray screen would be in? That tells me at the end of the day, you really don't have gunmetal. Why would I invest the money for a higher advanced screen if it's doing the same thing as the mediocre screen? You might as well go buy the mediocre screen and save the money. Can you imagine if Diamond came out and said, hey, look, we got this gunmetal screen. When they have it in a dark environment, the same thing as a gray screen. That thing's like $3,000 and that one over there is like what, $150? Well, if it's doing the same thing that's doing and it's in the same environment, I'm not really getting a kick on the gain. I might just go out and spend the money for the cheaper one. I'm in the dark anyway. What's the point? There you go. That's why you look at screen paints, they have a 2.0 gain, anything under that. And if you look at the gunmetals, they got the 0.9, 0.8. They got them insane gain because they can do that. They can really generate in those environments. I've tested them. I literally sat there with a black diamond and hit that thing with a 50 lumen projector, and it pulled in the garage with no problem whatsoever. It blew a gray screen clean out of the water. Massive, huge difference. Gray screen came out dull and dingy, and the diamond picked up perfectly and beautifully. So with that being said, yes, there's a massive difference between gunmetal technology, real gunmetal technology, certified, versus the other products. So in order for you to have a screen paint that take on a physical screen, you understand the theory behind the gunmetal. They're physical screens. They hold a ton of weight in form sites. You go to a form site and you say that, hey, I got a screen paint and take out a physical screen, they will laugh at you because first of all, it's unheard of that a screen paint can ever compete with a physical screen because they got that film and all that stuff attached to them, so it's unheard of. You show proof that you have a screen paint that can not only produce in the exact same environment that a gunmetal can produce in and even higher. You show a demonstration that you can take out this screen on color levels, compete with it on the white levels, you can produce it on the contrast levels, you can beat that screen, especially at contrast. You got a monster of a technology sitting in your hands. Because the whole purpose of the gunmetal technology was not to enhance its white levels, it was to produce a much darker level, to give you much darker blacks. That's what it's designed to do. So if you can show that your gunmetal produces a much better black level, picks up, maintains a perfect white level right next to their screen, and can produce better color and do it in a fully lit environment, you have now showed and displayed that you have a screen paint that can take on a certified gunmetal, which means the price of your screen just skyrocketed. We've been doing that for years. That's why if you go to any one of my videos and you type in gunmetal technology versus certified, you will see tons of demonstrations of us testing all their technology. The only one we couldn't get our hands on was Diamond. That's literally the only screen we couldn't get our hands on. And now, we got 5 of them now. 5 diamond screens under our desk right now. 5 of them. All right then, there you go. So that's why when I see people saying, oh, we have gunmetal. No, you don't. You don't have gunmetal. Because if you are talking to somebody at the end of the day, and this is the kind of people you're bringing up when it comes to gunmetal screens. This is the kind of customer you're bringing in. Customer contacts you about a gunmetal screen. This is a person that can afford and is ready to spend that kind of money for that screen. And the first thing he's going to ask you is, so change my mind. I got the money to spend $15,000, $20,000 on a screen right now. Change my mind and show me a huge, massive difference between your screen and the screen I'm about to go purchase. We're going to do in a dark environment. All that, that's not going to work for them. I can take that gunmetal and I can show them their exact sample sheet that they have or their exact screen and show them a difference in color and contrast. I could drop it at 1,000. I could drop it at 5,000. I could drop it at 16,000. We own tons of projectors. That's not a problem to swap out. I can swap out projectors in the demonstration. I can show them not only can I beat your screen at the end of the day and save you a ton of money, but I can go outside. And if I want to, I can swap the ultra short though at will when you can't even do that. You have to buy a special screen for that. There you go. Sold that fast. Have to be able to back it up. So you can't just say you have gunmetal. You have no idea the type of customer you bring in when you talk about a gunmetal screen. And then if you have that kind of capability, you can go to any form site you want, where all these gurus are in there and they know what they're talking about when it comes to gunmetal, and you can show them that you can take that screen. Why do you think that Diamond, when they sent us that information, said that our product had potential? You know what a D5K was? A D5K was the beginning stages of our gunmetal. That's what the D5K was. That's when we got people came and tried to come in and copy the D5K and turn it into their own product. No, a D5K is basically the beginning stages of our gunmetal. That's when I first got a chance to see Diamond's technology. That's the technology we were developing. We gave up on the gray paints, the light paints. We were developing darker technology because what we saw in Diamond's technology, it was much more advanced than our screen paints. That's where the D4K, D6K, D5K, that's where all that came in from that. So when you got a company that contacts you, as big as Diamond, It's a screen innovation, and they sit there and say, hey, your product has potential. That tells you something right there from the door. So now we're way past that. We're way beyond that. Because before we matched their product, that's why they contacted us. They're not going to contact me if their product's doing better than my product. Why would they contact me? That means that companies watch you at the end of the day. That's what I learned. They do watch you. They'll come into your YouTube channel and they will watch you. They'll look through your videos or research your stuff. They will watch you. And Diamond Screen Innovation was watching my company. And I didn't realize they were watching us. We're doing all these tests on the screen. We're not slandering them. We're not doing any disrespect, because if I was, then I would have got a cease and desist order right from the door. I would have never received an email saying, hey, your product has potential. Let's talk about this later. Who freaking starts off a lawsuit that way? Or a violation that way? No one does. It's just they didn't get what they wanted. That's what happened. And that's why I ended up with that cease and desist order. Well, look, we can't do this and that and the other. Well, how about this? You don't touch your stuff anymore. And then I realized later on, talking to a friend of mine, was like, no, they couldn't have done anything to you. You didn't do anything wrong. You didn't slander their product. You didn't do anything fake against their product. The fact that they sent you out a letter of goodwill to begin with shows you didn't do anything wrong. You could have kept on testing on their stuff, and there's nothing they could do with you. They sent you bully tactics. That's what they did. And it worked. I moved everything off the site. That's what I did. But I kept all that information just so if one day I came up and said, hey, look, I can use this against them by saying that, hey, they knew my company was good because they contacted me. So anybody who comes out with me about a black diamond, and I say, look, they contacted us at the end of the day and so say our product was good, and then turn around and send us this cease and desist letter to keep us to stay away from them. Why do you think they're not touching me now? I got more than their technology than we had before. I don't fake their damage. I don't do that stuff. I don't go mess with someone's product and make them look bad so I can make my stuff look good. This will get you sued. Like we're doing to a few people right now. We're doing that to our company. They're getting sued over it. So they knew that we did everything by the book. And they knew our product was much better. Now, after that, we have technology that is far more advanced than Diamond's technology. And they want to sit there and talk to me about that one? Yeah. You have a screen called a carbon black. Who had the black technology first, me or you? I had it first. All right then. So your carbon black versus my AdTech, my black screen. Who do you think will win? I can go outside in the sun. You can't deal with that. Your carbon black can't deal with sunlight. You require an 8,000 lumen projector to fire. I can drop it at 1,000 and I can pick it up at 50 with no problem whatsoever. You're nowhere in the area of AdTech technology. Nowhere close to it. And you can't deal with it. You can't deal with a screen that can absorb sunlight. Oh, I'm about to say, where the rest did that go? So that's where that comes down to right there. So, yeah, I'm glad they did a black screen. I'm happy for them. Am I? No, I'm happy they did a black screen. Finally, thank you. And the reason why is because I need for other companies to develop black screens so that way black screens can get up there on the product line of the next level, the pecking order. They need to be at the top of the pecking order. So we need for more certified screens to start developing black technology. Now, would I consider it to be competition for us? No. The reason why it can't be competition, I told you from the door, that the minute a certified screen develops a black screen, this thing is going to be far expensive, more expensive than the gunmetal. It has to be. It'd be stupid if it wasn't, because that's how they market their products. If I charge $5,000 for a gunmetal screen here, and then I turn around and I charge $2,000 for a black screen, that's better than the gunmetal screen. That's backwards, isn't it? There you go. So they're going to charge far more than this. So if this thing costs $5,000, what do you think this is going to cost? There you go. It'll be way out of your price range. There you go. But us, since we've been developing black technology for a long time, we can take a technology that's far more advanced than this and charge far less for it. And that means we could beat them in price. But I want to do more than beat them in price. I also want to beat them in performance, which means that's why the new line of technology to deal with any form of thing that Diamond could bring out is going to be the new AdTech screens that are coming out, the TV screens. And they're under the legendaries, and we got some other ones that are not part of the legendary, but they're designed to absorb sunlight. So if you thought 100,000 lux was cool, I found that we can go higher than that. Heck, maybe one day we'll put a screen on the sun. I'm just joking with you. It's not going to happen. The screen would just melt and deteriorate. Sun's like billions and millions and millions of heat. That would never even happen. But it'd still be fun to think about. Or we could make it fire resistant. Oh, wait a minute. Is that possible? Oh man, that would be sick. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is the other part of my brain that clicks off and basically goes into another world. Can you imagine that? What could we do with that? We could actually make that. We can literally make that. It's interesting when I get these wild thoughts that pop in my head and I can hear the Lord back there saying, you know, you can make that, right? I got to put the time in the research to figure out how to do it. When we know how to do it, it's just that you have to figure out what to put it to make it, because the ingredients would have to be completely different, because it would have to be something. But it's not hard to do. Well, I got a screen to submerge underwater. Why would not fire? Wow, that would be pretty cool though. That'd be something for movies. The only people can utilize something like that, a screen that can burn, not burn, and you can pull a movie through it, would be for Hollywood. For movie could you imagine you can have somebody literally walk through fire, but they wouldn't have to never get burned, because it'd be basically an image. But then you can even put projectors in fireproof. I gotta study all that now. See, that's what I'm talking about. I got enough stuff on my table already. That's what I love about the Lord. That's what I learned about the computers. When I started working with computers, my Lord was throwing all this information. I was writing composition books all night, just building computers, putting it together, all different types of computers, building. It got to the point that I thought I was going into madness, because I was building so much stuff. And then basically when I got my first computer, and I fixed that, put it together, remodified it, I realized that, oh man, I can do whatever I want to do. This is crazy. And then just kept going. And boom, next thing I was just building tons of computers. I was having 14, 15 servers in my room and monitors all over the place. It looked like freaking the guy, where he claimed, they called it a Mission 1. It was like walking into NASA. That's how crazy my setups were. Yeah. And now it started again. Yes. Modification. All right, let me see. We got to get over here. So this is the showcase. Oh, we got to do the videos for that. We got videos to put on that. I got videos for the showcase. The reason why, if you go to our accounts and there's videos in certain places, is because they're on-site videos that are supposed to be on there. But we got to lay the foundation before we can do this, because you can't build a house without the foundation. This is how it works. All right, let me see. 10% done. We're going to put this here. Take that out. You don't need that there. Can't put a house down without that proper foundation. And wonder why you come in and why your refrigerator's coming at you at 100 miles an hour, because your house tilted on you. No, we don't need this right here. So we got to build the foundation. It's much easier when you're online. You're building the foundation, social media sites set up, and link all that to your website, and tweak your search engine optimizer, set up your PayPal account and all that stuff. Yeah, it's much easier. Over here, it's a little different to do. Much different to do. Oh, let me see. I got to finish the specification sheet for this. We got too much to do. Gonna be out here at probably about 10 at the most. Don't worry, we'll get your orders out the door. Look at them over there. Come on, man, get me to the post office. I got you. You see how we pack those babies up? Those lock containers? Oh, things are amazing. The lock containers. And then we put I like the bags we put in there. So the bags, we don't need them. They're not necessary, because them things are locked. They're not gonna open up. But we put all the extra tape, as we usually do, and we put them inside those bags. When you open it up, you're going to smell that cane. It's got a beautiful kind of a flower, fresh summer flowers, and that cane smell. The boxes smell great. I had a friend of mine, she's picking a bunch of it so I could smell it through the box. So I'm working on some thank you anyway, by the way, in advance. But I'm working on some thank you cards and stuff like that for you guys. So thank you cards. We'll print out some nice. We're gonna design our own thank you. We can do our own thank you cards. We design them ourselves. Make them pretty cool. Thank you so much for basically hooking this up. On top of that, I got, when we do our paint demonstrations, I got my little buddy coming down. So easy a kid can paint it. Yeah, it's going to be one of our slogans right there. He's going to paint our screens for us when we do our displays and stuff like that for trade shows and stuff. So much to do. So much to do. This is going to be our own color. Now, the gunmetal we're developing is not your normal color. It is going to be quite interesting. It is going to blow your mind. Yes. I want a screen that looks absolutely gorgeous on your wall, even when the projector is off. Oh, man. I know exactly how I'm going to design it, too. I got the perfect design for it. Inside or out, ultra compatible, weatherproof, minimum 1,000 lumens. That's what we usually do. Enhancer technology has been increased to 10 for this technology. All of them are now increased to 10. Heightener technology increased to 10 on this technology. Yes, it's going to be a beast. Quasar Infinity 1 contrast levels. Well, you're going to have basically contrast shifting technology for this. Let me get over here. Let me see. Contrast shifting technology. It's this thing called contrast shifting technology. A lot of people saying you just made that up. No, it's actually a thing called contrast shifting technology. It's a real thing. You gotta crack books. Gotta crack them books. Crack. I'm not talking about my customers. My customers, yeah, they're cool with that. I'm talking about naysayers the other day to try to say it's not real. It is real. We've done it. We've literally shown a gray screen take out a darker screen easily and shift its contrast levels to be able to produce a better contrast of the screen that's actually gunmetal. Do you know that the digital 2.0s had them in them? As a matter of fact, one of the demonstrations, if you go to our Crystal site, it shows one of the challenges. The challenges are for any gray paint to do the exact same test that a 2.0 did, and no one did it. There's literally a challenge on that one. And basically, in that demonstration, you will see a dark star 9 laying against that screen, and you will watch that screen pick up a star field that will overpower a gunmetal screen at gray. Yep, it's right there. Got the test right there on display. All right, what do we got here? Where did you just copy? You copied something. Let me see. Let me just go back and copy here. Oh, contrast shifting technology. Yes, right here. Yes. Let's see. Infinity. Can't have an infinity level. Because it's gunmetal. Gunmetals don't have infinity levels. We have contrast shifting technology. Powered by God's technology. Powered by God's technology. I like that. Powered by God's technology. I love when people come in and they go, I put God is amazing, God is amazing, God is amazing. And they put down like, what does that have anything to do with God? Really? Interesting. God developed all technology. All technology. Everything you have, everything on this planet belongs to God at the end of the day. How dare you say at the end of the day that what does that have to do with God? At the end of the day, your very existence has to do with God. Everything. Even every breath that comes out of your mouth. Do you have any idea how much of a gift that is? That every breath that comes out of your mouth is considered to be a blessing from God? Because it could stop just like that. Yep. Your heart, every time it beats, that's a blessing from God. That's another thing that can stop on you. There's a lot of things that can just stop on you. Just stop working. All of a sudden, just shut down. Just like that. Your body's a machine itself. So consider the fact that everything comes from God. Even your very existence comes from God. And I love when people sit there and say, I wonder what atheists go through when their time comes to pass off this earth. What goes through their mind, the process of it all? Because I know in the back of their mind, they're probably thinking, what if I'm wrong? That's not the time to be thinking about that in that situation. You ever heard the term, there's no such thing as an atheist in a foxhole? If you don't know what a foxhole is, it's something that they would dig this big, well, let's say a hole in the ground, and soldiers would get into it to keep from being hit by enemy fire. And you would hear bullets whizzing back and forth, people trying to murder them while they sat in this foxhole. And they got a time to get up and be able to shoot, hoping there's not a sniper staring at them at the same time that they poke their head up to keep from getting shot. That's why you see the Bugs Bunny where they take the little flag and they stick it up to see how many holes go through it. To sit there still shooting and they can see them. There you go. So the term is, there are no atheists in the foxhole, because if there's a time to basically believe in God and get religion fast, that would be the place to do it. Because you could stick your head up and you could just disappear. So that's where the term comes from. No atheists in the foxhole. Yeah, you watch a plane take off and an engine pop off that thing, the atheist might drop in the middle of the floor. He might be the biggest prayer in that entire environment. Yep. An interesting thing about how God works sometimes is he may be the one to survive it all, which will question his ability and what he thought of, which could end up making him a massive and super soldier of the Lord. That's usually the ones that become super soldiers, or the ones that basically deny God the hardest become the super soldiers. Like Paul. Paul became one of those soldiers. Paul was a killer of Christians. Went out and murdered and massacred Christians and all that stuff. They call him Saul, but not named Paul. Saul went out and murdered and massacred Christians, and God turned him into a disciple. So, guess what? Those are the ones that end up becoming more powerful Christians. They basically have they serve God to no end. But yeah, but a person came in and said, what does God have to do with that? So let me get this straight. So God doesn't have anything to do with certain things. Almighty God, who basically is the beginning, the end, the Omega, who started it all. Because I love the whole theory in evolution where they talk about the Big Bang Theory. So let me get this straight. The world exploded and things happened. Is all you got? That's pretty much it. I find how I go to the museum, I'll see bones and fossils of dinosaurs, but how come we ain't got a caveman in there yet? All this time, we got mannequins of cavemen. There's nothing in there, not one fossil of a caveman, because there were no cavemen at all, period. It was just Adam and Eve. That was the first beginning of man and woman. No cavemen. Where did we get this from? I literally get kicked out of museums sometimes because I'll sit there and just speak my mind at the end of the day. Where's the fossil of the caveman? Where's it at? Oh, it's not here? How come? I mean, how long have you people been doing this with basically dinosaur fossils and displaying them into building structures, and you can't show me one fossil of a caveman? Nowhere to be found? Really? Because they can date the bones back to basically from that particular era on exactly if this man actually did exist. There's none at all, period. Because man wasn't made at that time. That's why they can't have one. That's why every time you go into a museum, you'll see the dinosaurs, which are there, which are real, but when it comes down to the caveman exhibit, you just see mannequins every single time. Yep. And I had that same conversation. And I'm like, so where's the real caveman at? No, you don't have one. And they give you some excuse that they found some. It's always the same thing in some lab somewhere where they found one, blah, 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 blah. Well, how come it's not here? How long is it going to be at the lab? Why it's not? And then they get kicked me out. But it's true. I mean, come on. You can't get mad at the end of the day. It's true. Where is this freaking fossil of man? None. That kills me. But anyway, God created all things. That's the end of it. End of the story right there. And I get when people say that everything exploded from the Big Bang Theory. So let me get this straight. So basically, evolving means constant change, right? And if you're saying that everything evolved, right? Why is a cat still a cat? A dog is still a dog. It hasn't evolved into anything else. And look at my cat. He doesn't have antlers. He doesn't have a horn protruding out of his head. He's not like freaking 300, 1,000 pounds. You know what I mean? Like the whole saber tooth, that huge thing. How come he hasn't evolved in anything else? And God changed the structure of animals. At one point they were this, now they're that because of his change. So if you're talking about evolving means constant change. So by now, that cat should have been something else by now. Should have evolved into something. How long it's been since we had the prehistoric era? So how come this guy over here doesn't have horns? He doesn't breathe fire either. So nothing has changed. A cat's still a cat. So let me get this straight. When you get a T, when you get it, when you want to make a chair at the end of the day. Let's say a basic chair. Does a chair just explode out of nowhere and just end up in your living room? Like, boom! And you come downstairs, you got a chair down there waiting for you. Boom! Refrigerator, everything's just exploding into existence and just happens to just be there. Is that it? Oh, wait a minute. How do we make chairs? Someone has to think of the idea. Someone designs the idea. Someone has to build it. That's what happened with the earth and God. God thought of it and brought it into existence. He built it all. Man is made in the image of God. Man has the ability to create and build. We can think about something, design it, and build it. Same thing what God does. So, with that being said, that didn't explode into existence. Kills me when they say that. So evolution just stopped out of nowhere, but things are constantly still evolving. So if things are constantly evolving, evolving means constant change. It doesn't mean that it stops and it's no longer evolving. It's constant change. So my cat's still a cat at the end of the day. Maybe I'll wake up tomorrow and have antlers and a horn and he'll breathe fire, maybe with wings. I have this conversation with people in evolution all the time. It exploded. That's the best you could come up with. They kill me at the end of the day. And then you got the people who believe that the earth is flat. Oh, I would love to take a boat trip. That's a reality show right there that I would pay so much money to watch. Take the people who believe that the earth is flat, stick them in a boat, and let's go to the end of the earth and see what happens. Why didn't anybody make that a reality show? That'd be a fantastic reality show. Earth is not flat. Why do people believe in this crazy stuff? How is that even possible if the earth is going to be flat? I mean, look, if you had uncharted water, talking about back then at that particular area where you had boats like the Mayflower and all that stuff, sailing all over the place, Christopher Columbus, whatever, it was uncharted territory. So, of course, people came up with theories that the earth was flat, that if you kept on going to the other end, you would fall off. But right now, in this era, are you kidding me? We have literally been just about every place all over the ocean. We're not underneath of it, but just about every place over it. We got islands that are mapped out and charted out where basically there are civilizations that are living on it that are untouched by basically society and everything we have in technology. So how in the world we know all this? Somebody can live, the odds of somebody getting lost at sea is a little bit rare. I mean, it does happen, but with all the radar tracking system and everything else we have, GPS, not kind of hard to find people out in the middle of nowhere in the ocean. We got satellite systems that scan the earth. There's satellite systems floating up in the earth that basically scan everything that comes on this planet. The Hubble telescope literally has a scope that's so powerful that it can read a man on a bridge way up in outer space. So we have that technology now. So with that being the case, how in the world is the world considered to be, the water is flat? How is that possible? So fantastic reality show. Get a bunch of people, stick them on a boat, real nice one, and let's ride to the end and see what happens. Wake up call. There you go. What movie was that when he went back in time and the guy had a big lighter and the caveman was sitting there, which the caveman doesn't exist, by the way, but it's this funny theory. He's sitting there trying to make fire, and the guy's sitting there having the conversation with the other scientists, and they're watching the caveman at the same time. It's like, hold on for a minute, I got this. He was like, took the big lighter and went, shh. He said, okay, here you go. Problem solved. It just jumped freaking the whole chain line of freaking the ability of fire, like light years just for that. He said, hold on for a minute, I can't deal with this anymore. Click, problem solved. Here you go. Gave him a lighter. But that's not true. Anyway, time travel, man, you can't have time travel. You can't have time travel. Time travel is extremely dangerous. You can't have time travel. You can't manipulate time. Only God and angels, and the devil can basically, I think the devil can manipulate time. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if he can or not. Because he did have some powers, mind you. Satan was basically an angel. People understand that. I think it was just some hideous beast. No, Lucifer was an angel, an extremely powerful angel. Matter of fact, he was one of God's top angels. I don't think he was higher than Michael, but I know that he was a very powerful angel. And it's a powerful angel that became filled with ignorance. He became filled with jealousy. He became filled with pride, and he decided that he was going to basically take over heaven. That's the first war. And God said, nope, not going to happen. But he had other followers, had other angels that followed Lucifer, and Lucifer was thrown out of heaven. But he was a very powerful angel. Now, is he more powerful than God? No. I don't have any idea why people follow it. I don't get that theory. If the devil wasn't able to take over heaven in the first beginning, and he was thrown out of heaven, wouldn't that tell you at the end of the day that the second time around it's not going to go as well? I mean, you would think about that? Some people just never give up. I mean, if he's going to know what you're going to do before you're going to do it, how in the world are you going to even get around that? Can you imagine having an army with the ability to know what was going to happen before it was going to happen? You can't beat anything like that. That's virtually impossible. The whole element of war is basically strategy and surprise. To be able to get the upper hand on your enemy. You can't do that if they know what you're going to do already. What's the point of that? So again, I just want to get people that are into the devil, and they'll contact me. Oh, devil's powerful. It's that. Okay, let me get this straight, Skippy. So you're following somebody at the end of the day who thought he could take over supreme being like God, okay? The one who made him, and he decide, and he knows God because he's his right-hand angel. And he decides that in seeing all God's glory and magnificent being, that he thought that he could literally take on God himself, and got cast out of heaven and got thrown to wherever he threw him at. But anyway, that's like fighting a boxer who knows every move that you're going to do before you do it. Before you even think it, he knows it. So how do you beat something like that? You don't. You surrender. And you consider that to be smart and intelligent, and that's what you follow? Oh, good luck on that. Yep. You need to find God at the end of the day. I never forget when they say about be careful about following false prophets. Family radio. Never forget that. I used to listen to family radio. I loved their Bible scripture fellowship because it talked about the Bible, but the guy called Harold Canting, he was something else. You got to be careful about that. You got to be careful about, you can read the Bible. That's good. You can read the Bible. It's fantastic to read the Bible. But people get too far into it. There are things that you are not meant to know. It's meant to know. It is not for you to know these things. And people want to go into studies and advanced studies and advanced studies and advanced studies. It's understand to break it open and understand some of it, but some people go too far with it. And then when they go too far with it, they get their own theories and they start adding things to the Bible. You know, that's a bad thing. You're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to take anything from the Bible. You're not supposed to add anything to it. It's extremely dangerous. And people do that. And when you do that, they come up with their own theories. This is when you got people start writing their own books on basically how to understand the Bible better. No, don't even go near those things, because that's extremely dangerous territory right there. Because again, God wrote the book perfectly. God wrote the book. He gave someone a divine spirit to be able to translate it and write it enough for you to know and understand it. You're not meant to know all the secrets. It's not meant for you to know. When the time comes and you're blessed to see God's face, then this will be revealed to you. But right now, no, it's not for you. It's enough to get you through what you need to get through to basically battle the devil and to be able to become closer to God. That's all you need right there. But some people start writing their own books and their own theories and how, no, you don't need all that. If that was the case, then God would have made all those books to begin with. You have one book, which is the Bible. That's all you need right there. You read from the Bible. If a preacher is telling you something wrong at the end of the day, if he's telling you this, that, and the other, you don't go by the, people sit there and they basically worship preachers as if they're gods at the end of the day. No, you rely on your book at the end of the day. If whatever he's saying is not matching that book, then it's time for you to leave that church, because he's not preaching it right. People get caught up in the preacher. Oh, preacher this, preacher that. You get, but no. You don't praise the preacher at the end of the day. You praise God. Preacher's a vessel that works with God. You don't give preacher praise for that. No, you don't. All that goes to God. And he should be telling you that. Oh, don't give it to me, give it to God. But anyway, people start putting their 2 cents into it. And this is where it becomes dangerous. This is what happened to Harold Canting. Harold Canting was this big time preacher. He could have did a lot of good. He had many, many radio stations all over the globe. And he preached out this servant where he felt that he knew when God was coming back. A lot of them do this. They get into numbers, they get into stuff where they start basically analyzing and putting their own two thoughts into it. They start adding their own scripture, start figuring out this is what God is thinking. First things first, it says in the Bible that nobody knows when God's going to come back. Not even the angels in heaven. They don't even know. So if the angels don't know, how is man going to know? But for some reason, people get in their head that they know when God's going to come back. And they come up with all these different theories and dates and stuff when this is going to happen and that's going to happen. So he tried this in 1989, that God was going to come back. And he failed. God didn't come back in 1889 or 1885, we're around at that time. So he goes back in and they will never admit they're wrong. They'll go back in and say, well, I have to recalculate because I made a mistake. I got the numbers wrong and whatever, but I'm pretty sure I know how to do it this time. Came back and went another one, May of 2021. I remember that one. Was it May of 2021? I think it was May of 2021. And this is pretty sad because you had people that followed this man and they believed 100% as the nose is on your face that God was going to come back because this man preached it. And this man preached this pollution of this lie through all these radio stations that he was blessed to get to preach the word of the Lord. Now mind you, not all the family radio was bad. It was other things that was good. But Harold Canting was the president of this and he kind of ran things a different way. But anyway, and preached this everywhere. And a lot of people fell for this. A lot of people thought that God was coming back. So if you can go on YouTube, you can actually watch this where in California, I think it was in California, these people, these followers of family radio that believed that God was going to come back was out there waiting for God to come back. And what we're supposed to do is God was supposed to come back. He was supposed to bring all his people with him. And there was supposed to be these great earthquakes and the world was supposed to be destroyed. He left out a lot out of Revelations, at all. So he completely skipped all that about Jesus descending down on the cloud, the 7 open seals. He didn't bring any of that in there to begin with. But anyway, so what had happened was all these people were sitting up there and they're waiting for God to come. And this is the sad thing about it is it kind of reminds me of when the children of Israel went through all that torment to be taken out of because you got to remember the devil's everywhere. He's everywhere. Even among, you got to be careful. Even among the elect, the devil can be there. So if you look at Moses, where Moses freed his people and they parted the Red Sea and all the wonderful blessings that they've seen, they got food from manna from heaven and all that, and they still were complaining about this. They complained about that. They complained. And Moses was at his breaking point. He was like, oh my goodness, you got to be kidding me. Like we went in there, we saved these people. They were slaves. They were being beaten. They were being killed. They were being murdered. They were being starved to death. And we bring them out and they're still complaining, and Moses was losing it because Moses went to the top of the hill and he's having this conversation with God like, well, I can't take this anymore. Like, I'm trying to help these people out. All they do is complain. And while Moses was sitting up there on the top of that hill, here comes Satan, popped up in there somewhere and started talking about how why Moses is up on this hill. We're down here starving. We're going through this. We're going through that. How about we take all the gold that we received from a blessing from God? Mind you, these people were slaves at one point, and they were taken out of Israel because Pharaoh was being plagued. He wanted them out of there, and of course, Pharaoh died in the process. But anyway, Pharaoh died in the process. But they told him to give them all as much gold as they could carry. So you took the very gold that God blessed you and took it to melt it down to make a calf to worship. God is right there on top of this hill. And you're melting down gold to make a god, a false god, in front of the God himself. Wow. See what I said at the end of the day? That's why I'm surprised we're still here. I'm really surprised we're still here. Honestly, I'm surprised. I'm surprised God hadn't said, you know what? I'm tired of this. Earthquake and the whole entire world just gone just like that. What are you going to do at the end of the day? There's no armies. There's nothing that can defend you against God if he decides to destroy it all. He has a lot of patience at the end of the day. But anyway, they are making this calf and they're going to do a sacrifice and they're carrying on. Now, that's not all of them. Only one half. The one half was sinning. The other half was like, we're not getting into this. We're not getting involved with this at all, period. We're going to stay truthful to God. That's it. And the other half was on there partying and carrying on and acting up. And then when Moses came down there, oh, was it? The ground opened up and they all got swallowed in. Yeah. There you go. And it found out that basically the original ones that were supposed to be going to the promised land didn't go. Their children went. They didn't make it. So, you can't. Howard Canting, what he did was he basically had, God blessed him with the ability to be able to have all these many radio stations all over the world to preach God. And he went in and he abused it and used it and basically became obsessed with things in the Bible and just went too far with it. And he basically came up with his own theory that he knew when God was coming back. And there were preachers from all over the world that would contact him and said, nobody, you're wrong. You can't make this statement because only God knows when he's coming back. The angels don't know. So how are you supposed to know? And he was trying to tell them they were wrong. They didn't know what they were talking about. So when that day came of May of 2021, it's supposed to be the rapture. Let me see if I got this right. Family radio returning of Christ. Let me see. How can't you? Right there. Look it up yourself. It's in Wikipedia. What happened? Let me see. It was July. Sorry, July 9th. July. Yeah, it was in July. So it was in July. So July the 19th. So bottom line is, let me see if we get this right. When he made this prediction, so he made this prediction on the end 12 times. He did it 12 times. He said the world was going to end 12 times, and it never happened because again, it's not your place to say this. You're like telling God, hey, be quiet, I got this. No, you don't do that. So anyway, the end of the world was supposed to happen. He was preaching this all over the world, and he's been campaigning this for like a long time. And there were people that were selling off everything because they thought the guy was coming back. They really believed in this guy. There were people dropping out of college, and there were people that euthanized their dogs and all kinds of stuff because they figured dogs weren't going to heaven and all this stuff. And dogs, actually, technically, animals don't go to heaven. It's best to bust your bubble on that. I mean, yeah, they don't. They don't have souls. But anyway, they were just doing all kinds of crazy stuff because they figured that God was coming back. People were selling their homes. People were basically clearing out their banking accounts, giving away all the worldly positions, everything. They were just doing crazy, quitting their jobs, all kinds of stuff because, God's coming back. There's no point. And me basically, pushing on. There's no point, people were quitting all kinds of stuff. You're wrecking families and everything, all kinds of stuff because they figured that God was coming back. So all these people joined up over in California because that's where he's at. His main station was in California. And all these people were out there waiting for God to come back. And it was a circus show. They were out there with, one guy brought his toothbrush with him and said the reason why he brought his toothbrush because he may have to brush his teeth on his travels to heaven. Insanity and crazy insanity at the end of the day. There was a blow-up doll. They were bouncing up in the air. I don't know what that was about. It was some crazy stuff. First things first, when God comes back, he knows his chosen people. There will be no blemish sheep in his fold. So when he comes back, there will be, if you're not worthy and you have not been saved and you're not 100% clean, you're not going. You're not going. You'll stay here for the rapture. That's what you'll be here for. But other than that, what I saw in those people, they weren't all clean. They were in there basically carrying on and acting up, blasting music, all kinds of stuff. It was crazy. It was like watching Woodstock. It was crazy. So they all sat there and they counted down. They counted down where God was going to take them. And nothing happened. And of course, what's in the crowd too? Atheists, devil worshippers, people the devil were sitting, the doubters and all that stuff, they were in there. You know why they were there? Because they were taking everything from them. They were challenging them, saying, well, look, this guy came back. He had maybe 5 deeds to somebody's house. 5 different deeds. If you call yourself a man of God at the end of the day, and you really believe this at the end of the day, how about you sign the deed of your home over to me? Because you're not going to need it anyway. You're going to be in heaven while we suffer the rapture. And they signed over the deed of their homes, banking accounts, everything. And atheists, whatever went on down there that wasn't of God, took everything from them. God blessed these people that had these things, and these things were taken from them. Now, that's what happens when you follow a false prophet. You lose everything. You can even lose your soul in the process. So they went in, and a lot of people signed over everything to these atheists, and people that were down to that are people that weren't of God. Not just the atheists. There's a lot of people in there that just weren't of God. Period. If you were a Christian, you wouldn't be doing anything like that. If you're a Christian, you'd be trying to help that person out at the end of the day by saying, hey, look, you're going down the wrong path. I don't want your house at the end of the day. I need you to keep your house. All right, I'll take it. I'm going to hold it for you. But when all this is over, I'm going to give it back to you. People were doing that. You're going to sign it over. Don't sign it over to one of them, because one of them, they're just there to take it from you. I'll just take it from you. I'll hold it for you. When you get yourself together, I'm going to give it right back to you. There were good people like that. So, yeah, they did the countdown. Nothing happened. They did the countdown again. Nothing happened. And then it set in. It all set in. The reality that Harold Canting was wrong, and they believed in a lie. The depression, the just dealing with what they just went through. And the beautiful thing about it is there were Christians in line, already waiting to help these people out, to get them through what they just went through. That's God helping them out. To get them in the shelters, to help them get back on their feet so they can basically get their lives back together. Because again, this is a damaged Christian at the end of the day. No, they should have been careful about false prophets in the day. It's very, very dangerous. But this is a person that could have literally easily turned on God and said, you know what, because of Harold Canton, they could have turned on God and basically joined the side of the devil, due to the fact that what they went through because of Harold Canton and believing in him. They should never been believing in him, they should have believed in God. And there were Christians there to help them, put them back on the right track again, to help them out, to put them on the right path and away from Harold Canton. So Harold Canton failed, and a lot of people lost everything. And the really terrifying part of this is, now we haven't got to the terrifying part yet. There are people who woke up who believed that everything they did to serve God through Harold Canting, believed that they weren't worthy. And there were people who have murdered their kids, murdered their dogs, murdered family members, because they didn't want them to suffer through the horrifying rapture that was supposed to come, because they thought that they weren't worthy enough to be saved. He caused that type of destruction. Now keep in mind, that's why you have to be strong, and you have to be with Christ. You have to read your Bible. Read from your Bible. Don't basically believe what man is saying out of his mouth. If a preacher's preaching, I don't go by what he's saying out of his mouth. I match it to what it says in that Bible. If it don't match what it says in that Bible, it's time for me to go. You're not going to tell me left. You're not going to tell me right at all, period. What's in that Bible is what I believe. You tell me anything otherwise, it's time for me to go, because you're not doing it right. So the Lord will guide you. The Holy Spirit will guide you to understand what you need to know in that book. That's what the Lord does. That's why you don't need any special teaching books from other people. The Lord will guide you what you need to know. Why would the Lord give you a book to begin with and give you the ability not to understand it? That's just stupid. He knows at the end of the day that the devil's trying to get you every chance to get. He's going to give you the ability to understand that book. But you have to be careful, because even the devil can come down in a form of an angel, and even for the very elect. That's why you have to be careful. It's a war going on, and you're all a part of it. You're all a part of it. One big, huge, massive bidding game. That's what you are. Despite you get up in the morning, you drive your cars, you go to work, and this, that, and the other, you are part of a massive bidding war between heaven and hell. That's what the real picture is. And you won't realize this until it's your time to walk over to that side. That's when you realize it. When you're sitting on that deathbed, you're not thinking about your fancy cars and your money and all. In the day, you're worrying about what's going to happen to you when you close your eyes and your heart starts beating, your soul goes. You're worried about what is going to go into the next world, because you don't even know. No one has really. People say they die and they come back. No, you don't. You die. People die to come back, but you don't go to heaven. No, you don't get passes there, and you don't go to hell. period. So no one can really come back and say, hey, I was over there for about a week and this is what happened. No one can tell you this. Once you're over there, you're over there. That's it. But like I said, that's what Harold Canting did. Now, after all that, he goes into hiding. Nobody can find him. And you know, his kids, they have a lot of kids. They separated. Half of his kids left him. They won't have nothing to do with him at all of what he did. The radio station, they started disappearing bit by bit by bit because the FCC came in and they started basically regulating this and that. And they started getting rid of that. But this man caused a lot of damage and he disappeared. He was gone, right? But not yet. He popped back up again because everybody's waiting for him to come up with, figure out why in the world would you make this statement and cause all this destruction? What is your excuse? And he came back and said that he made a mistake and he got the numbers incorrect. When somewhere to say, let's put it away, he made a miscalculation. He won't admit that he was wrong. He made a miscalculation. And this time, God's going to come back in October of 2021. Oh, here we go again. And they had him with newscasts and talking to him and saying, well, what about the woman who basically almost tried to kill her kids because she didn't want her kids to go through the rapture? What about that? Well, you know, that's not my responsibility. At the end of the day, that's between her and God. He just passed it off. Or what about the people who donated you all this money? The people were donating him tons of money. And the thing about it was, he wasn't one of those preachers that drove in fancy cars and all that stuff. He was not that type of person. He was putting the money back into the fellowship, but he was doing it in a way where it was going back into the church, but still he was preaching out that poison. So he didn't take all that money. He didn't have a lavish lifestyle, none of that. He didn't have any of that at all, period. He was one of those preachers at the end of the day. He was just twisted along his way. That's it. And the devil used it. So at the end of the day, when it came to the money, they asked, well, you're going to return the money? He said, well, they gave the money freely. And that's true. You can't, if a church and you give them money freely, you can't take them to court for that because you gave it away willfully, freely. They didn't scam you out of it. You gave it to them. So, yeah. So people gave up their life savings. People gave up, you know, money that they could have spent for cancer medicine or anything. They could have been using involving health or anything. They gave it to him. And that's what they did. And he ripped off a lot of people and he basically, some bad stuff went on because of him. So he started the nonsense again in October of 2021. But God put an end to that. Let me see, make sure I'm right on this. May of 2021, God, no. Let me see. May of 2021, let me see. Howard Camping. I'm camping, it's the wrong thing. It's Howard Camping, get his name right. Howard Camping. Not Power of Camping. Howard Camping. Camping. Christian Family Radio. All right. Prediction of God coming back in May of 2021. The second coming. This was him. All right. So it was in July. So it was in May of 21 because I remember that day. I remember that day that he claimed that God was coming back. It was so big. It was even on the news. Like the news was doing a joke on it on the weather forecast. They said, well, today on 2021, we're going to have brimstone fire and blah, blah, blah. They were actually joking about it. It wasn't something to be laughing about because you don't laugh at any of that stuff because it's sad. But anyway, you know, May of 21, I remember because I was living on Jerome Street in North Philadelphia. And I got up, went to the store, and got myself a bag of barbecue chips and a root beer, and came back and was playing on the Xbox 360. That's how far back it was. Yep. Because I didn't believe in it at all. I had people contact me. They believed in it, but I didn't. No, because it says right there. No one knows when God's going to come back. No, angels don't know. How is man going to know? So he came back in, and he tried it again. He said the reason why God didn't come back. Here it is right there. I was right. May 21 of 2021. Yep, that's the date that he gave out. And God was supposed to come back. So, right there. So Jesus is returning soon. So, he tried it again in July. So he said it's supposed to be between July and October. But he didn't make it to July. So, basically, in May of 2021, he stated that the reason why God did not come back He said he made a miscalculation, but he also felt that the reason why that God didn't come back is he felt that man could not handle the judgment. That's the dumbest thing I ever heard in my entire life. And I'll tell you why. Because if God puts in his book that judgment's going to happen, whether you can handle it or not, you will go through it. Earth was flooded. Or Moses was the one that basically with the children. It's Noah was the one with the boat. Noah, when the earth was flooded, he built this boat. And of course, I'm pretty sure everybody in the town or the city thought he was crazy. Oh, Noah's out there in the middle there building a boat. At the end of the day, he must be crazy. And they mocked him. They joked at him. They said all these bad things about him. Yeah, they put Noah through some stuff because he was out there building a boat. They called him crazy and crackpot and all this stuff. And he was losing his mind and everything. And he's out there building this big old boat saying the world's going to flood. And he was out there preaching to the people, trying to save somebody. He was trying to save anybody. But let's get back to Howard Canton real quick. So anyway, in July, Howard Canton suffered a stroke. He couldn't speak anymore. God put an end to it. And he passed away. No sooner than that, he passed away. He has to pay for that. Got to be careful about that. Adding and taking things away from the Bible is extremely dangerous. Leading Christians down a wrong path is extremely dangerous. Very dangerous. You lose your salvation that way. Yeah, Christians can end up going to hell. But with Noah built this boat, and he was out there, and I'm pretty sure, imagine the crazy stuff they were saying about Noah. He was drunk, he was crazy. They were probably taunting his family and all that. Oh, why are you with him? You know he's crazy out there. He's out there building a boat. But his family believed in him. He believed that God told him, hey, look, I need you to build this boat because I'm going to destroy the world. There was no such thing as, oh, I may destroy it, I don't know, because, man may not be able to handle it. No, it's period, point blank. I'm destroying the world. That's it. That's done. So Noah built this boat. When people sit there and go, well, how in the world would you have all those different animals on there? They're not attacking each other. Oh, my goodness, I'll tell you sometimes. I wonder why God sits there and goes, really? Do you know I'm God, right? Do you know I have the capability to do anything that I want to do at the end of the day? I am all power, all knowing, all seeing. And you're going to ask me at the end of the day, how would someone be able to do that? That's your mind. That's how you think at the end of the day. You don't think the same way God does in any way whatsoever. Virtually impossible. He has the ability to change. And we don't have that. We have limitations. We have death waiting for us. We don't live forever. We don't have immortality. If we had immortality, then the thought of death would be a joke to us. But it's not, because we die. God does not die. So his way of thinking is far different than ours. He can basically sit there and make every single animal in there, whatever it may be, get along. Who knows how big the ark is? It really doesn't tell how big this thing is. But it was enough to house all these animals. And keep in mind, whatever's not in there, God can create, because he made it to begin with. Simple and plain. You made all these, right? He can make more. He's God. He can make more trees. He can make the sun. He can give us 3 suns, the 4 suns. He can give us an earth. He can give us whatever he wants. He made it all. It's his. So I love when people say, how would that be possible? Now, how would that be possible? You can't comprehend that at the end of the day. But God, at the end of the day, is God. We don't think the way he does. So, yeah. So when the rain started coming, and people realized that, oh, man, Noah was telling the truth, that the world was going to be destroyed by water, they started freaking out, because now you got water up to your waist and everything, and it's not stopping. It's keep going. And next you know, it's up to your chest. And then what now? And now they're beating on that boat. They're out there. Oh, remember Noah? Noah built a boat. Noah built a boat. So they run out there to get to this boat for Noah to save them. And these people are screaming and crying and beating on this door. But remember, you had the opportunity to be saved and you wouldn't take it. You mocked this man at the end of the day. And you know Noah was going to open the door? He was. After all these things these people did to this man, he was going to open the door and save these people. But God said, no, you can't open that door. God shut the door. They chose their faith. That's it. And those people drowned. So that was first destruction of earth. So if you look at in And in the Bible, you will notice that there was more land than there was water. Now there's more water than there is land. Now the next time around, it's going to be fire. It's going to be fire the next time around. So no, we're not going to have nuclear wars. No, I mean no zombies. None of that stuff is ever going to happen. If we got warheads right now, and we're going to have a nuclear war, we could have had it a long time ago. We could have had it around the Cuban Missile Crisis. We could have had war. It's not going to happen, ever. God already has it written how his world and how everything is going to end at the end of the day, and it's in that book. That's it. You can make all the warheads and weapons you want from here to there. It's never going to be used to destroy the world. Ever. Never going to happen. Because man thinks he has control, but man does not have control. God has control over man. You can have the most evilest dictator in the world sitting right over there thinking he has all this power, and God can decide to say, you know what? Your heart doesn't work anymore. And you're gone. That's it. Your armies don't exist anymore. They're gone. Yeah, you heard in the Bible, I don't know so much about it, too much can't say word by word, but I remember in the Bible talking about a king who was surrounded by a great army who was going to destroy him. And he prayed to God about it. Beautiful story. Sorry if I get choked up about it. I love talking about the Lord. But anyway, so they had this great army, real powerful army, about to take out this king. And this man didn't prepare for war. He went into the room and he got on his knees and he prayed to the Lord. The angels came. They wiped out the majority of his army. These men woke up. These men didn't even wake up. Never got a chance to put on armor. Never got a chance to put on their swords, their shields, whatever. They were gone. Just like that. Woke up. Can you imagine the general waking up and 90% of your army is dead? Can you imagine that? Now, the castle you're storming is a man of God. And he tells you at the end of the day, I serve God at the end of the day. That's who fights my wars. And he's sitting there laughing like, oh, God, you're fake God at the end of the day. You're fake, whatever it is, your idol, whatever it is. Yeah, so be it. We're coming. We're going to destroy it, burn it, rape your women, all that. They're going to do all this stuff, right? And this man goes in and he prays before the Lord. And the angels come. You're a soldier, you're a general, you wake up, and a great deal of your army is dead. Never seen the enemy, never heard a shout, never heard a cry, nothing. Not a thing. Now, what would that tell you at the end of the day? There you go. That's what you're dealing with when you mess with God's people. Yep, not a thing. Nothing. Didn't hear any noise, explosions, nothing, the horses, nothing. Gone. Just like that. I don't think I want to fight that war anymore. It's time for me to go home. All right. Sorry. Forgive me. I apologize. So and so and so. Hey, hopefully I can get some prayer or something out of that because I got to go home. My ship may sink. Anything could happen to me. I could go out there and get my boat and he might not be finished yet. The rest of my army could go fall behind me. They could die just like that. And I could be out there and my boat can just sink to the ocean. Storm can pop up and I could be taken out just like that. Oh, no. I'm good. I apologize. At the end of the day, I'm sorry. Yep. He will humble your enemies. Yes, he will. New candy. I like this stuff so much. Yes. I like talking about the Lord. I do. All right. Now, let me see. Let's go over. I think we're done. We got everything else updated. Did we get the gunmetal thing? We're in the gunmetal thing. We're talking about the Lord and all that. We got caught up in that. That's a good thing to get caught up in. Not a bad thing to get caught up. It's a good thing to get caught up when you're talking about God. 64. There we go. Gunmetal, Quasar, screen size coming soon. All that right there. Look, VOC. Testing. I'm going to be testing against SL screens, and we're definitely testing against the. I do want to do the Elite Darkstar 9 too, because these are the major big boy screens. Well, they are the major big boy screens. Yeah. The cap lock. I don't even know when the cap lock works in this thing or not. I'm just hitting this keyboard like cap lock. Cap lock! Like the Simpsons. Mad lock! Yep. Yes, sirree. But yeah, he went there and basically made those false statements, and Al Canton passed away. He died he had a stroke first, and he couldn't speak. God took away that. Because he wouldn't stop. He just kept going with it and coming up with new dates and all that stuff. And the Lord's like, okay, we're done. Okay, be quiet. And he couldn't speak anymore. He had a stroke. And he lost his speech. And then later on, he passed away. Now, he'll wake up and I can't say where he's at. He's not in a good place. I can tell you that much right there. Not in a good place. So you have to understand, people don't get this, and people get angry when people say this. If, cut and dry, if you have not been covered in the blood, if you have not been baptized, if you have not been saved, if you have not accepted Jesus Christ as your Savior, you can do all the good in the world. It makes no difference. You are going to hell. That's it. Bottom line, that's it. I had some family members pass away a long time ago. This is young generation. They've passed away and they've died, and people just can't accept it. They can't accept it. Oh, well, he was a good kid, and this, that, and the other, and he's with the Lord. No, I'm sorry. If it upsets some people, I'm sorry. Read your Bible. Stop coming to conclusions at the end of the day that you think you know God better than that God knows himself. You can't make that statement. Unless that person was serving the Lord, unless that person was walking in Christ and carrying his cross with the Lord, that is the only way that person is going to see the face of God. If you have not done these things, then guess where you are going? You will meet the other. That's where you will go. That's it. And I've been to funerals, and I've heard people talk. Well, they're a good person, this, that, and the other, and they're gonna see God. No, you are not going to see God. You will meet the other. That's where you will meet. You have plenty of time on this earth. You have time on this earth, and you have the decision between right and wrong. God could have made it so you can only think one way. That's it. Because he's God. You're supposed to serve him. He can make it so you can only think one way and one way only. But no, he gave you options. He gave you the option to choose one or the other. So there's no excuses when you pass on the other side. Oh, not enough time? You have plenty of time. Plenty of time at the end of the day. Plenty of time to figure out between right and wrong. You have plenty of time. You got free will. That's what you have. He could basically took that away from you and didn't give you any free will. He could have just made you to serve him and serve him only. But he gave you free will. So what excuse do you have at the end of the day? That's like going to school for an exam. You had plenty of time. You had all week to study for your exam, right? So those people who sat in and studied for their exam, those people are going to pass because they went in and did the work. They studied. They're ready for it. But those people who sat up and slacked and did everything else and went outside and hung out with their friends and when it comes time to do the exam, you don't know jack at the end of the day. And yes, you're going to get an F because you failed. Who do you have to blame for that? Nobody else but you at the end of the day. Unless you've got some kind of learning disability or have some problems, you need special tutoring, you don't understand it that well, then you can go and you can ask and basically say, hey, look, can I get some extra classes or whatever, this, that, and the other. But that's just that. But when it comes to the kingdom of Christ, you need to get saved. Because again, you have to remember, people, you were on borrowed time. Your time is ticking. You're on borrowed time. You do not have to wake up tomorrow. You can go out there and you may not come back. There's a number of things that can happen to you when you are inside or outside. Anything can happen. Your heart can give up on you. Anything can happen. We're frail creatures at the end of the day. No matter how much weight you lift, no matter how much power, how strong you are at the end of the day, you are a frail, as basically, as the guy says, a candle in the wind. Your flame can just not exist, just like that. That's how frail we are. So you need to get saved. Because if you don't, no one wants to be on that opposite side trying to figure out what just happened. That's why you got people can be the most hardest criminals on the face of the planet. When it comes time for them to die, they will call in a preacher. Because they're not ready. They don't know what's going to happen to them. They've heard stories and they've heard what can happen. If you're not saved, they don't want to entertain that thought. So you're not going to heaven. So you know that. If you have not been accepted, if you've not been baptized, if you have not basically taken up the cross and walked with the Lord, you're going to hell. That's where you're going. And the devil already knows who you are, is pushing you in the direction he needs you to be at. Keep you away from the church. Keep you away from Christians. Keep you away from all of that. Keep you close to me. That's how he wants it. So, you got people who go out there and it's sad to say that they want to go to nightclubs. I don't do nightclubs. I did that stuff when I was younger and I was out there doing dumb stuff. I'm really surprised I'm still alive today. But, they go to nightclubs. They want to party. They want to have fun and all that. You see Jesus in there walking around at a nightclub? No, Jesus has nothing to do with a nightclub. He doesn't even want to be in there in a nightclub at all, period. The devil wants to be in the nightclub. He loves it in there. And then you're going to have somebody walk in there with a loaded weapon, gun, or whatever. Somebody break out and get into a fight. I have so many friends passed away in nightclubs. It's not even funny. And, yeah, just looking for opportunities to start something. I had a friend of mine that I had for many years, and he was a family man. I don't know to this day why he was in that area, why he was in that place. He should have never been in there to begin with. He's a family man. He should have been home with his family. He's got a wife and all. You should have been home. But he was at the club. A place he should not have been at. And of course, he got in an argument with some guy. Of course, argument broke out. And he walked out first, which I don't know why, because usually people never walk out first. You don't know what can happen to you. And the guy shot him in the back. Now, how would you get a gun in a club? Oh, I've seen it happen all the time. Some of the people who walk in the clubs are best friends with bouncers. I had a couple of bouncers I was good friends with. I could have easily walked into any one of those establishments with a firearm and never been searched because I knew the owners in there. I knew the bouncers in there. And I just gave him my word. Oh, no problem. At the end of the day, I'm not going to shoot anybody. Come on, you know me. Yeah, you know me until somebody bumps into me that doesn't know me, and then I want to put a bullet in them at the end of the day. That's how that nonsense gets started at the end of the day. Because if they had searched everybody, when they went in, you wouldn't have any guns in that building. At all, period. Now, what may happen outside the building, that happens too. People get mad. They go back to their car. They come back with a firearm. That's how one of my friends who was a bouncer got killed. So he got shot in the back, but he didn't die. He was paralyzed from the waist down. And the depression and everything he was going through and the guilt and all, he committed suicide. The other guy was a bouncer. That's what at the end of the day, when I asked him, these guys are big guys, and I said, what do you fear the most when you're out there doing that kind of work? He said, I fear the little man. I'm like, little man? You're way bigger than him. You can toss him around like a rag. They said, no, that's the one that will shoot me. Literally said that. I remember hearing him say that before he passed off the earth. That's the one that'll pull a bullet at me. A big man will fight me toe to toe. You know what I mean? It's rare that a big man's gonna go back and get a gun. You know what I mean? He's gonna fight him toe to toe. But a small man at the end of the day knows he can't beat this guy. Unless you got some kind of special training, you're trained in some kind of combat fighting skills. Yeah, you can take him with no problem. What do you think? You're out there doing martial arts, you think you're gonna pick and choose your opponent at the end of the day? Oh, he's too big, I can't fight him. And there is no weight division in martial arts. You know that? There is none. In boxing, there's none in martial arts. Somebody's bigger than you, guess what? You're gonna go in there and fight him. Just learn how to be to take him down. That's all. But at the end of the day, no. You look at these real quick off topic. Jet Li, all these fighters, Bruce Lee, they're not big guys at the end of the day. They take down people just like this. So I don't know, it's no weight division in that. But anyway, so a person that basically, he said, yeah, if a guy is sizing me up, chances are he knows something. Then he knows at the end of the day that, yeah, he may have a problem. But anyway, so long story short, he says, yeah, it's a small man I'm afraid of. And I'm looking at the bathroom like, small man? What do you mean? He said, and on top of that, he said, big guy can't win. I said, what you mean big guy can't win? He said, well, if I'm fighting somebody, if I beat up a small guy, right, then I'm the bad guy because I'm bigger than him and I'm a bully. But if I let the guy get the better of me, then I'm considered to be a punk at the end of the day because I should have been able to take him. See what I mean? That's what he's laughing at, saying big guy can't win. But he said at the end of the day, he said he's terrified of the small man because the small man is the one that has the biggest pride that will go back and get a gun and kill him. And that's exactly what happened to him. They were in a club. And it was this, I say he's a big guy. He's got 6'4", so to everybody else, he would say he was small. And this guy was in there arguing with his girl and carrying on and acting up. And he went in and basically escorted him. He didn't grab him by the arm. He just walked behind him and tell him, look, you got to go. You can't come back in. He put them both out. He didn't put just one, both of them out. And he felt his pride was hurt. So he was out there. Bringing people in and checking IDs. Guy walked up to him, put a gun to the back of his head, and squeezed the trigger and killed him. Just like that. He never saw it coming. He didn't feel anything. It didn't feel anything. He died. He was dead. So, with that being said, yeah. Was he a Christian man? No, he wasn't. He wasn't a Christian man at all, period. So I know where he went to. But that's the one when we had that conversation when he said, I asked him, who do you fear the most when you're in a club? Like he said, small man. So, yep. That's what happened there. Let's see. We got to put in Dark Star 9. We had caps on for that one. Dark Star 9. Yep. But you don't want to be at the club and all that stuff, partying and carrying on, because the devil's there too. He's there right along with you. He's in there smiling, looking around, seeing exactly, him and his demons are all in there, just smiling, looking around, seeing what trouble they can start, get something started, somebody angry, get something upset. So imagine they're just sitting there, these demons are sitting there watching you having fun at this club. And they're like, how can we get a fight started in this place? Because the minute we get somebody angry and upset, we can start feeding information into their ear and start telling them things. So they get this guy, he walks in, he's a little drunk, he tips, he bumps into this guy, he spills a drink all over him. Now that guy could sit there and say, I don't want to, I'm going to let it go. It just happened, he's drunk. You know what I mean? That's just common sense or, reasoning with him. But the devil pop in there and go, what are you going to let him get away with that? Yeah, he spilled it all over you at the end of the day, your nice clothes and all. Let him get away with that when people are laughing at you in here. You're not even a man at the end of the day. And you get upset and you grab this guy and y'all start fighting. But maybe he got some friends in there with him, so they jump in. There you go. And that it all starts at the end of the day. And that could escalate out to the parking lot. With somebody, the devil whispering, like, you got a gun in your car, go get your gun. There you go. Somebody gets shot, someone gets killed. And that person wakes up in the next life and the devil's like, hello, how you doing? I got you. That fast, that quick. That fast, that quick. You were just in the club. You were living. You were in this world. And you were living. Just got off of work, got home, got all dressed up, went down to the club to have a good time. And now you wake up talking to a demon. That's where it gets scary. Yep, that fast, that quick. And there's nothing you can do. You can scream and 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 scream. No one can hear you. No one. No one can help you at all. You'll call out to God over and over and over again. He can't even help you. You made your decision. And mind you, that's going to be forever, which we can't basically understand that because we die, but it's forever. It will never, ever end. Forever. Now you think of that terrifying nightmare. Yep. 3.0. Dark Star 9 3.0. All right, now we put that in there. It's right here. Let me see. That's a terrible thing to do about, isn't it? Yep. That's pretty much what happens. When I hear about people being killed, I pray that these people were saved. I pray that they knew God. But if you knew God, you wouldn't be in a place like that to begin with. What Christian would want to be in a place like that? I don't want to be in there. I don't want to be around all that. Women walking around half naked, people cursing and carrying on, and the music they're playing got curse words all in it and everything. I don't want to be around that. Being in an environment like that makes my skin crawl. So I wouldn't be there to begin with. So since I'm not there with the demons, and the demons have no way to basically try to kill me in the end of the night. Dodge that major bullet. That's why you gotta be. That's why I said, in the day. That life right there. Man, I have no idea. Well, people don't see it that way. People see it like going to the club, bunch of people, friends and everything, people joking and laughing, having fun and all that, stuff like that. You don't realize what's in there waiting for you. Viewing 180 viewing angle, ultra short though compatible. Yeah, fully weatherproof, definitely. I like doing it weatherproof. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, just burst your bubble of the day. People say, well, it's brought my day down. If it brought your day down, that means you're not ready to be for God. But this talk that we had right here in this video basically made you depressed at the end of the day and made you, at the end of the day, feel that, you just didn't want to hear it at all. And the devil's talking to you already. He's already having a conversation with you. Why would you be depressed at the end of the day about being told that you have to be careful because the devil out there is lurking like a lion looking to devour whoever he can? You're being warned at the end of the day. Why would you consider that to be a bad thing at all? Christians who hear this praise it because you know why? Because they know what I'm talking about is true. And they've been telling you this for years. Christians have been telling you this for years, what's going to happen to you if you don't basically follow the right path. What are you doing? There we go. You're on the wrong way. You're on the wrong way. Up here. Up here. Up here. Oh, no. They did that differently. Okay. That's how we're doing it. Okay, whatever. We'll take that. There's nothing here. All right, we got, the showcase. We put the whole showcase in here. So the video's right here. All right, we'll put down, let me see, video demonstration. Sorry about the camera shaking because I'm holding my phone while I'm charging at the same time. So I'm doing all this one hand while I'm holding the phone. Let's see, video demonstration. I'm gonna tell you something. I had plenty of opportunities for the devil to kill me and take me out on so many levels. It's not even funny. And the fact that I'm still here breathing and having this conversation with you shows how blessed I am, because there was many opportunities for me to be killed. God didn't allow it to be so. So I got the opportunity to be chosen. Mind you, can you understand this? Not everybody's going to heaven. There's a certain select that's going to heaven, and there's a certain select going to hell. So everybody's meant to be. And when I explain to you, you're on borrowed time. Your very life, as you think is yours, is not yours. It does not belong to you at all, period. You're borrowed at the end of the day. God owns you at the end of the day. I know something like, God doesn't own me at all, period. All right, doesn't own you at all, period. Jump off a building. You got immortality, right? Nobody owns it. Yeah, jump off a building. No problem at all. You should be to survive it, right? No, you're going to die if you jump off a building. You don't own your life at the end of the day. Nothing you have is yours at the end of the day. When you die, can you take it with you? Come on. I'll give you the ingredients to my company. All the technology we develop, I'll give you all the ingredients on how to make it. If you can show me one person on this planet has been able to take their stuff with them to the next life. This is why we have wills. To leave the stuff to other people, because we know we can't basically take it with us. That's why there's a will. That's why you give away your stuff when you die, because you're not taking it with you. So with that being said, since I've never seen a U-Haul truck behind a funeral line, that means you can't take it with you. And that means that everything you have on the earth is borrowed. Because if it was yours, it would be yours, always. You know what the whole purpose of basically something being yours? That means it's yours. It belongs to you. And you only. It's only yours on this earth. That's it. So in the next life, it'd be still yours. But it's not. It's borrowed. It means you have to give it back. So your soul is not yours. It belongs to God. You go back to primal dust. So you were made from the dust of the earth, and you'll be returned to the dust of the earth, and your soul will go back to the one it belongs to. So that's how that one works. So if it was yours and you did own your own soul at the end of the day, which means you would have immortality and you couldn't die, which means you could jump off a building and you wouldn't even suffer any pain. You would just get up and go, oh, that was pretty cool. That was a pretty good jump. I'll try the Empire State Building tomorrow. You could walk under the ocean, never drown. Anything. You can drink poison, all kinds of crazy stuff. You can do anything you want to do. You can get shot a couple of times. You ever watch Highlander? Where you insult the guy's wife, because after a while you realize that, I have immortality, do what I want to do. But some of them became evil, and some of them didn't. Some of them, the guy was crazy. He did some crazy stuff. So he went to this party, and he was living around in the colonial times, and he insulted this guy's wife
And oh man, it was funny. And they took him out to the field. He slapped him in the face with the glove and said, "I challenge you to a duel." And he was like, "Okay, whatever," because he can't die. And they did pistols at 10 paces at dawn. And the guy kept shooting him, and he kept getting up. He kept waking up and laughing about it. Oh, I gotta find that now. I gotta find that one. I forgot about that. That is freaking hilarious. Because him and this guy were there. They were there at that time. The guy was black. Of course, he couldn't die. They hung him over and over again. Remember, they didn't do well. Black people didn't do well in the era. So they hung him multiple times. And he was laughing about how he would just keep coming back. But he would come back and kill these people. Like, he would come back and killing the people that were the racist people. He was killing them. And they keep hanging him. And the reason why he kept letting them hang him, because he figured out who was who. He was murdering these people. So they couldn't kill him because he had immortality. And that's what he was doing in his time. What he was doing in that era. And the other guy was doing just crazy stuff, like going to parties, getting drunk, you know what I mean, starting fights and stuff, because they couldn't murder him. But the interesting thing about the Highlander series and the movie is the fact that they can die. They can only die by the hand of one like themselves. So it's kind of like saying that, look, here's the deal. You have immortality, but there's a little but line there. You could be killed by your own kind. And there's a game being played that whoever becomes the one becomes the ultimate god. They're saying the ultimate god. Anyway, he becomes the ultimate of immortality. So they have to all hunt each other down and kill each other, take off their heads, and they would take their powers or whatever, make them stronger. But yeah, that's what it's all. That's what I found interesting about Highlander. But that one where basically he's getting shot in the duel. Highlander getting shot in the duel. Duel, nice duel. Duel scene. Oh, it's so funny, man. He just shot him. Oh, so you remember the duel scene? The guy who insulted his wife because they were having this conversation in the bar. They bumped into each other. You know. If you're friends with a Highlander, he did kill him. They were friends. They're good friends. And he said, we have to do this. We don't have a choice around this. And he didn't want to fight, but they have to. There can only be one. He says, if you win, he said, I'm going to try, even though we're friends, I'm going to try to kill you. That's all to it. Isn't that crazy? So it's always some jacked up underline to something. But yeah, he said, I'm going to have to try to kill you, but we're friends. And he felt bad for taking his life, but he had to. It's part of the rules. But I got to show you the duel part was hilarious. Oh, it's going on 10 o'clock. I got things to do, Mr. Fur. I got to get to the post office and take care of my customers. Oh, man, I can't stop laughing about that. You remember him shooting you over and over and over and over again? And he just kept getting up and laughing about it. Yeah, here it is. Here it is right here, the duel scene. This is hilarious.
It was 1783. 1783. Oh, yes. Your famous duel on Boston Common. You were right. What was that guy's name again? His name was the heavier blade, Mr. Bassett. Boy, I am fighting to a hopeless
He was drunk the entire time.
Mr. Bassett is waiting, sir. Tell him I'm ready.
That's him. That's the Highlander that fell down. He was drunk. Look.
I'm gone, sir.
No, he kept stabbing him. He didn't shoot. He kept stabbing him. I got that right.
Wonderful, sir. Thank you.
So he figured he's dead. Watch you get back up.
Bassett? That you? Mr. Bassett. Stop, sir. I beseech you. I apologize for calling your wife bloated warthog.
He called his wife a warhog.
Good day. Shooting, sir? What? Shooting? No, sir. No, sir. Get the fuck out of here. No, sir. Okay, sir. No, sir.
Now you wonder why he shot him, right? It's all about honor. And his honor is everything. His guy right here, honor is worth more than money. It's honor. So the fact that he lost his cool and gave him a pistol to shoot him in the back, do you know what that would have done to him in the end? That would have destroyed his reputation. I think it was like a big thing that if you had to do a duel at 20 paces or 10 paces, and if you shot that person in the back, your honor wasn't worth nothing, which means people wouldn't trade with you, wouldn't do business, nothing you would consider to be low as low can be. So for him, the fact that he even thought that I'm going to shoot this man in the back and you suggest this for me to do this, yeah, that's why he took his life. But the fact that he stabbed him that many times, at that point, if you sat there and you stabbed at somebody that many times, what do you think a bullet's going to do? Yeah, but it's funny how he's just walking away like, okay, whatever, you know, that was interesting. It's funny because you would think people would say that. You ever been to the Highlander? They have their own freaking board where they talk about things. I mean, they're foreign boards. But what if someone cuts off their head? You can't cut their heads off. Only their own kind can cut their heads off. So they're immortality, which means you can't cut their heads off. You can't do this. You can't do that. They have immortality. Only one of their own kind can do it. But he shot him for the simple fact that, come on, you're going to disrespect my honor like that? You're going to hand me a gun to shoot this man in the back in front of all these people? Oh, no, I'm going to do the same thing to you. So he took the shot. But I thought that was funny. How many times he stabbed him? And you would think that the pain would hurt him, but it doesn't. Because to tell you the truth, they're used to it. They've been stabbed so many times, it's not even funny. Set on fire, what you can name people have done to them. They're used to the pain. They've done it already. And it probably heals up rapidly. It's like being freaking Wolverine at the end of the day. Pretty sure they got rapid healing capabilities too. Let me tell you something. The first time I would have stabbed this guy, because these guys they're champions in basically sword fighting. So he probably stabbed him right through the heart. The first time I stabbed him, he got back up, I'd have got on the horse buggy and took off. There's no way in the world I'm sticking around for that. Even if you're dumb enough to stab him 3 times and he still gets back up. This is at this point, people were very superstitious back then. They probably thought he was a warlock, a witch, or something like that. Something, whatever he is, but he's not human if you stab him 3 times, especially if you're used to being in these fights before, because of course, as you see, he's a very good fighter. And you've killed people with this same particular move, and they get right back up again. This is not good. This is time to go. And you notice none of the horses are spooked, so that's even worse, because now the horses are not even picking up what he could be. If the horses were carrying on and they were acting up and all that, then you're like, okay, we're in a bad situation. We need to leave quickly. But the horses are nice and calm, which makes it even worse. Like, what is he? But I thought that was so funny about the duel scene. Him and the black guy were in the bar. I think they were having a conversation about how he had this fight. Oh, this guy right here, man. I never forget him. He was good, man. Oh, man. The Highlander, 1986. Where is the hotel scene? Oh, he was taking out his sword. Highlander, the hotel scene, sword test. It's just a calibration right? He's doing with that sword. I'm going to download this movie and watch this. I miss Highlander. Man, but that's interesting. You think about the whole theory of Highlander. Now, the newer ones they had, like the TV series, the guy was like a collector. He was an art collector. He collected all these antiques and stuff. And there were people that were coming in. They just couldn't figure out, like, how in the world did you get this? Like, mint condition. Like, because he was there. That's why. He was smart enough to realize that, okay, I had immortality. I got to do something with this. And I'm pretty sure the first couple 100 years or whatever they were doing on the earth, they're pretty much just doing crazy stuff, because pretty much most people are doing, they drunk with power. But then after a while, when it starts to come down to it, you start thinking like, got to do something with this. So how about I just start collecting stuff? So he probably started collecting stuff. You get bored and did everything else since you've been here, so he started collecting stuff. And he had this whole antique shop, and people would come in like they couldn't figure out how in the world he's making a ton of money, but how in the world are you getting these artifacts mint condition? Because he was there. That's literally what I would do if I had time travel. You can't go back and you can't alter and change anything in time because you would mess things up in the future. Like really would mess things up pretty bad in the future. Imagine if you go back like Homer Simpson in the toaster incident where he goes back in the dinosaur era and he sneezed and killed all the dinosaurs because they're not used to the viruses that he has now, which is introduced in that time. Imagine the viruses what we would have now. They would be far, far worse because they would have basically eventually turned, well, they believe in evolution with which one, but they would just say they would evolve into something nightmarish. But anyway, so with the time, you can't go back and change. You couldn't go back and kill Adolf Hitler because that would cause all kinds of problems. You can't touch anything at all. Can't alter, can't touch anything. That's what the guy was talking about in Back to the Future. You go back, you can't touch anything. You can't do this, you can't do that. All you can do is serve. That's all you can do. Can't do anything. So people come back and say, don't mess with stuff. No, you'll cause nightmares in the future. Things will go wrong in a horrible way. And you'll go back to the future and go, oh, shoot, this is what I did to my world. Yeah, you can't touch anything. So time travel would only be just to observe. It's like walking through a live visual history book. That's all you can do. Can't do nothing. Now, what I would do, personally, if I had time travel, I'd just take junk. Because junk is not going to change history. People throw out pots and stuff like that. Like, say a poor man has a pot, right? He throws it out, whatever, it's trash, whatever. Pottery from freaking BC, before Christ, is worth millions of dollars today. It's interesting when you think about the timeline that those people who lived in that era didn't realize that all those potteries and all that stuff they were making back then, tapestries and stuff, is worth millions of dollars today. Right? Go back to the Wild West. All those handguns, revolvers, pistols, cannons, Civil War uniform, all that stuff, to them was junk. Up here now, millions of dollars. Even if you were back in the dinosaur era and you found a dead skeleton of a dinosaur, what would that be worth today? So that's the stuff I would be taking. I'd have to get a machine to basically shrink everything so it's small, because you would have that technology. If you have time travel, you gotta have something else to shrink everything small so it's miniature, and I can just take everything, collect it, and put it in the bag, and bring it back to its regular size once I reach here in the future. So that'd be interesting. That's all we take. It's just junk. Wagon wheels. Who's gonna miss a wagon wheel at the end of the day? Or a whole chuck wagon. Who's gonna miss that at the end of the day? Then just go back and take stuff. Go get me, of course I would have to change skin color because kind of told you the theory behind that black people don't do well with time machines. We don't. Sorry, we just don't do well with time machines. Yeah, that wouldn't work at all, period. I find that funny because I remember I was watching a TV show about these college kids that figured out how to make a time machine. They made it by accident, and the guy tested it out first, and he ended up like in the 1600s, and he couldn't believe it was in the 1600s. Having the conversations at a bar and tavern and all that stuff, and he came back and he told the black guy about it. He says, "Hey, look, it works. The time machine actually works." And the guy thought he was just high on weed. He says, "No, it actually works." And he came back and brought a hat back with him. And the guy looked at the hat because he was a smart guy. And the day he's like, "Where the freak did you get this from? You steal this from a museum?" He said, "No, I went back in time and I got this. Look at it." He showed us some of the stuff that he brought back. And the guy was like, "Man, I got to go back. But you got to remember, that particular era wasn't too kind on my people." Yeah. Like, I can't go back to the 50s. Let me think how far back we can go. It's quite a bit. Ooh, man. So basically, roughly 60s and 70s. And really, I wouldn't go back to the 70s. I just wouldn't do it. I was in the 70s. I was born in 68, but still, no. I would say roughly, probably the late 70s. I would probably go back to the late 70s into the 80s and 90s. That's it. The 60s and 50s for African American? No way. 1940s, 1920s? No. 1800s? No. You crazy? 1800s? No. No. 1700s? No. 1600s? No. 1500s? No. Ain't doing it. See what I mean? There you go. Reality. Can't go back. Certain races can't go back either. If I was an Indian, there's no way in the world I would go back to the century of the Cowboys. There's no way in the world. You couldn't pay me enough money to go through there. Nope, 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 nope. There's certain areas that certain people can't go back. But sometimes, I ain't trying to be rude here, some particular races can go anywhere they want to go and really not have too much of a problem. Let's just be real here. Because we get people get offended like, oh, that's not true. Oh, let me get this straight. So I have a time machine. I can go back to 1960. Do you have an idea what went on in 1960? Oh, yeah, okay. 1950, I can go back. Let's try the 1800s. Do you think I can go back to the 1800s and live a free man in the 1800s? By any chance? No, ain't gonna happen. There you go. Now, don't get me wrong. I know people sitting there saying, oh, well, that's not for all white people. No, it's the majority. Was a lot at that particular time that didn't approve of my point of view at that particular time. But I'm pretty sure there were people out there who basically felt that black people should have equal rights. The Indians should have equal rights. Any man should have equal rights, and no one should be judged on the color of their skin. But there was just more of the other kind at that particular time, at their own point of view. Look at this. He had that thing designed now that he can't carry around a sword because in time changes. He can't carry around a sword. He got it made so basically can have it all in the case. I love the way he handles this thing. Man, I like that. That was awesome. But anyway, yeah. Get back to this real quick. We had a conversation. I'm on a forum site about time machine travel for black people. Literally, there's a forum. It's hilarious. We're getting there crying. It's nothing bad. We don't get there. People getting there act up, but it's just hilarious. It's just the reality of it all. Time machine travel for black people. It is hilarious. But yeah, the guy was like, oh, I never really thought about it. That white guy was like, I never really thought about it that way. Like, wow, that's really messed up. Like, you guys really can't go back. I said, yeah, me and your buddy, we want to go back. I can't go back to that era. That's impossible. You ever seen Back to the Future? When the black guy's driving the car, the incident that went on over there about that, the guy was trying to tell him to get out the car, stolen car. Yeah, there's no way in the world that's not going to happen. Would I like to go back to that era? Yeah, some would like to go back and see things on that era, but that's not going to happen for me. There's no way in the world. No. No, 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 no. You know, white friends, I joke about that the other day. So you think if we're talking about time travel, a bunch of my friends were talking about time travel. And I said, I can't go back to that era. You can. He said, yeah, you're kind of right on that bird. You can't go back to that era. He was a buddy of mine. He was a cool dude. I was like, he can't go back to that era. He said, I can't go back to that era with you because you end up getting me killed in the process. Yup. Yes, sirree. Yeah, isn't that a shame? You're mad at somebody because of the color of their skin. I think that's disgusting. Video demonstrations. Okay, we're going to put that right there for that. That's a showcase. Bum, 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 bum. Oh, you were right. Oh, weatherproof minimum 1,000 lumens. FLE 1010. FLE heightener 10. Quasar contrast shifting. Let's see. Spray on application. Bum, 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 bum. I want a roll-on application for this thing. Let me see. Let me get into here. Let me see. I'm gonna put this out right here. Check that out. Because I need this to be a roll-on. Take this out. It doesn't need to be there. That's for submersible technology. We're going to add a submersible into this. Let me see. Bum, 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 bum. Okay. Bum, bum, bum. Okay, that's good right there. Wait. What you got here? No. Let me see what you got here. Let's see. little bit. I'm just gonna come out. I'm gonna come right there. I gotta go right there. Yeah, it's going there. Storage environment. Okay, yes. New vapor lock containers. New vapor lock containers. All right, that's there. New vapor lock containers. All right, so the gunmetal is already being set up. Specifications. Didn't have time to do it in the last one. 10 o'clock. Oh, crap. I got time to take out the orders, but I got other things I want to get done today. But I can get them all done today. I got time. I mean, this had to be done. I had to update all this stuff on here, get that finished and everything. And I had to go in here and strip out the PC. So everything's all stripped out and ready to go. Take all that stuff apart and get that ready. So that's done. So all we have to do is just wait for our CPU to get here, and then we can start building it. I think I might do the paint job today, since all the orders are finished. Let me see, batch number guarantee, free worldwide shipping, containers. Let me see. Oh, free shipping. Okay, that's all there. Mother of all gunmetal. Change that slogan for that one. We'll put the showcase in here. Then there's stuff I'm gonna put in there. Everything's done there. Let me see. Batch number guarantee. All right, that's done. Saved. All right, everything is all updated, ready to go. All right, and pretty soon once Halloween passes, we'll put up the holiday screen. And we'll do some demonstrations on Christmas out in the snow, because I wanted to snow when I did the demonstration for Christmas. Hopefully we're blessed with snows. I mean, we get snow up here really fast. We get a lot of snow up here, like crazy get snow up here, because we're near the mountains, that's why. So we get a lot of snow. All right, let me see. All right, that's everything done and completed. So okay, well, let's do it one more time for the fun. I do it twice just in case. That's all finished and done. Oh, now that's done. I'm done with that. I'm going to take this out. Get rid of this because we don't need it for this in here. Vapor lock containers, the Highlander scene, get that out of there, get it in there. I got stuff to do. Narrow canting, get them out of there. Contrast shifting technology, get that to go out of there. This pages, form factor, picture quality, performance, that's from there. Just allocation pictures or something, we'll look it up. Let me see, they're right there. This is what we're going to install into this unit over here. I'm going to do liquid cool for this, but we're going to experiment and try to use the ice pump for this one for our new hard drive setup. This is actually gonna be real. It's gonna be liquid cooled from there to there. This is gonna be sick. I can't wait to do this. Can't wait to do this. Some kind of 100. Is there? Where's the power supply for this thing? Let me see. Okay, that's the pump system. We're not hooking it to that. I don't care about that. Let me see. There's a pad and plate, but we don't need that. We don't need any of that. We're going to connect this into the tube, the cooler block for the hard drive. So we don't need any of that. Right? Come on, really? Put the water right there. Water tank. Okay. Oh, it is a power supply. I knew it'd be a power supply. You have to have a pump station. So you got reservoir, pump stations at the bottom. Ooh, that's pretty interesting. Okay, I was just wondering where that power is coming from. All right, so that's pretty simple. That's easy. Oh, no. What are these? What are these? What's the size of these? Oh, why do I got to do centimeters? Why do we? Oh, 6 inches. Okay, I hate doing centimeters. I'm going to go to the metro system. 6 inches. So, wait, these are 6 inches? These are 6 inches? 6-inch tubes? Hold on. What are the tubes? What are these right here? All right. 9.72 inches. All right, so basically the tube I have to get has to match, fit that. Or we just clamp it. We got a system to clamp it on. We can do it. You can modify your tubes. Oh, this is going to be sick. We're going to liquid cool our power supply. And it all works well, like I said, because the power supply, not power supply, the hard drive for the PC is a little bit different because it's separated from the motherboard, which is good. So basically, if it does leak or have any problems, I'm going to make sure I put a little, like a pan system there underneath of it that'll basically contain that water. But we shouldn't have any problems. But if it does, it's not going to be anywhere near my motherboard, which is the most important thing. I don't care about power supply going out. I'm worried about my motherboard. But the problem with the PS5 system is that the hard drive is right directly on top of the motherboard. So if that thing leaks, it's going to take out my motherboard. So we'll test it on this system first. Nothing happens, no leakage, no problem. I should put an alarm on there for leakage or anything, but I don't know. If nothing happens whatsoever and we're good, we're going to put the same system here on top of that M2 memory stick. Because even though it does have the heat shields on it, I still want to do something cool by water cooling my unit. I do. So we're going to water cool the CPU, and we're going to water cool, well, actually it's the CPU and GPU because it's all in one chip. And we're going to basically water cool our hard drive. That's going to be sick. Now, if we can figure a way how to, well, that's the hard part about it, because you can't put another hard drive in. And it doesn't have any SATA outputs for the PS5, so it'd have to be internal, that's an external hard drive. So external hard drive. Wow, how do we do that? How do we get a copper block on an external hard drive? And then still have it connecting with the USB so we can connect it into the computer. We can't do it with a hard drive case. Let me see. But it's still going to require power. See, this is plugs in already. You can plug this in separately. So we'll have to have a separate port to plug this in right here. But if we get a hard drive cooling case, this is a 3.0 USB. because I want to put my other hard drive into another case. I don't want it to come with the case it comes with. I don't want that at all, period. And this is where the Molex adapters come in. This is why we use them. So bottom line is, if we get one of these hard drive coolers, but I want a case. I want to slide mine into a case. We don't have a case. Oh, I forgot. They don't make the cases anymore because they don't have the 3.5 bays anymore. People don't really use the bays anymore. This would be the case right for the bays, but we don't really use it anymore. Okay, so we'll just have to use something like that. That would be something sufficient that we can just fit on top of. Because then you're still going to have to power some form of USB to the hard drive. Hard drive's going to require that. Let's see something for a minute. Wasn't there hard drive swaps? Ugh, my goodness, swap case they had. Did I save that thing somewhere? Let me see. Hard drive swap case. Hard drive swap case. And this would work right here. This is perfect because the hard drive is exposed. So we need the hard drive to be exposed to be a hook on the cooling system, which you're going to have to modify this thing. I'll have to bring tools in for this thing. Literally, I'm going to have to cut to do this. So we got to put in the fan system. Oh, I'm going to build my own fan cooling system myself. But we want to liquid cool it, right? Yeah, we do want to liquid cool it. But half of that has to be in here in order for this to operate. Oh, you PS5, you're going to be such a challenge. You're going to be such a freaking challenge. I can see it right now. I freaking love a challenge. It taunts me. Oh, wait. We can put the memory sticks in there too. Oh, yeah. We got to get this unit. This will be hot. We can modify this. We can modify this to keep it nice and cool. This is going to be my outside unit because it's external setup. So this is going to be my huge setup for my PS5. Wait a minute. So how much memory can you really? How many gigs can you really boost that system to? We're probably going to tamper with their firmware. I know it's going to happen. Let me see. Can you go over 8 gigs on the PS5? You can add more than 8 gigs. Oh my goodness, what can we do? What can we do? Yeah, we're going to go monster on this, man. We're going to go super monster on the PS5. PC's easy to do. I have this fun with. Console has limitations. This is why I like it. It's a challenge at the end of the day to be to conquer one of these machines at the end of the day because they give you limitations like you can't do this, you can't do that. I bet you we freaking can. We're going to go over 8 terabytes. So what can we do? They say you can go over. Yes, you can add more than 8. Ah, man. That's gigabytes. I'm like terabytes. Did I say terabytes or gigabytes? What did they give me? No. Why do we not listen to me when I say this? I literally said terabytes. I'm thinking we can go over this. I'm hoping we can go over this. PS4. Yes, you can add more than 8 terabytes of storage on the PS5. Yes, you can add more than 8 terabytes of storage on the PS5. Well, what do we can go over this. So wait, so that means that, but it's still saying 8. So what's the over? All right, let's just put it in a way I can understand. Can I do? I want to do 10. Can I do 10 terabytes on the PS5? Oh, it has an 8 limit. Why? Why would you do that? Why give it 8 limit? Why would you do that? See, this is what I'm talking about. See, this is the one thing I'm talking about when it comes to the console. It's a challenge to play with these things at the end of the day. But why limitation at 8? Why 8? Come on, man. If you're going to let us get inside of that compartment to begin with, let us play around in there for a little bit. What a freak wants to stop at 8. We can go more power than that. Oh, why? Someone had to go higher than this. I'm going to find out. Someone had to go higher than this. We got things to do. I'm sorry I'm going to get caught up. It's almost going on 11 o'clock right now. I got things to do. I just want to go here and do more research on this thing, man, because we got this system coming in pretty soon, and I want to make sure that we can go higher than that. Oh, I wish we could do all that. We can change out the RAM and all that stuff. That'd be beautiful. We're supposed to be happy what we got. So that's going to be 4 in and 4 out. That's what it's going to be. Let's put down a 4 terabyte hard drive. 4 terabyte hard drive. Pick up a 4 terabyte hard drive, and we'll just basically solid state drive. We'll do a solid state drive, and we'll install that in our own casing. I'm not buying their own case. If I split my own case, I can modify it. So basically, I can keep the USB and all the extenders, all that in there, and I can also add a liquid cooling system in there. The research. Grr. Yeah. Okay, people. I got work to do today. Let me get my customers taken care of. Right now, I just want to just snack them with some bag of chips and start working. All my orders are done, so I want to start working on this stuff. And I got to start painting my case. I got my glow-in-the-dark paint. I'm going to throw that activator in it. There was some LED lights on the table to show everything's going to activate. We're going to paint it with the LED lights on in the dark, which is going to be insane. So we got to work on this, because I still got the retro PC to finish, but I still want to start doing my research on the PS5 to see what we can get away with. So we're going to do liquid cooling for, of course, for the CPU and GPU. That's definitely going to happen. And we're going to do it works, we're going to do an ice pump system that's designed for RetroPie. It's going to be for our hard drive. This is going to be for our M2 hard drive, which I am going to buy the one. Well, really, we technically don't need the heat shields at the end of the day if we're going to put a liquid cooling system on it to begin with, to tell you the truth, honestly. But the thing about it, can we remove those? Can we take them off? Because we could take them off. I'll go with that. I want to go with I don't want to go to third party. I want to go with the official approved hard drive for the PlayStation. Because again, even if I do take the shields off, the thermal heat shields off, and all that stuff, it could have problems with that stick altogether. So I don't know. We'll figure that out when we get there. So when liquid cool that, we're going to bring our system up to 8 terabytes, because that's what they said you can have. That's what you can max out to 8 terabytes, internal, external hookup. We're going to take it and put it in a bigger case, a much bigger case. There's a case that I like, the one that looks like that, kind of like, it looked like a PS5, but it kind of have a little more better case design to it. And as for the boot hard drive, when the boot power supply, PS5's boot power supply. Yeah, the boot. Look at the boot. Look at the Robocop boot. It's the boot. We gotta definitely modify and change this altogether. The boot must be changed. So what we're gonna do with the boot is, because it has a weird shape to it, it has to fit inside the case. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get a clear box, a plexiglass box, the same size as a power supply. And we're going to basically put in the holes that we needed to put the power supply unit through, so it connects in nicely. But the box is going to have kind of like a little slide area here, so we just slide the boot in nicely, which we'll have to build all that. And then we'll have an intake fan for the top and the bottom that will draw the heat out. So it'll basically push air through it and draw it out the other end. That'll keep it nice and cool. I think I'll put a thermostat in there. I'm going to put a thermostat in there. And we're going to basically do it with dark plexiglass. With dark plexiglass, I have to build a little box myself. So with the dark plexiglass, I don't want to be to see the boot at all. But I do want to see a faint look at any lights we have in there, or basically with the LED lights we're going to have on the top and LED lights for the bottom, and all the fans are going to have LED lights on, so it looks pretty cool. That's what I do. And it does have a ribbon system. Let me see. Ribbon system for the PS5. Ribbon system. Let me see. Oh, I should put down power supply. Power supply ribbon system for the I'm really going to put that in a little better for the PS5. PS5. These are replacement ribbons they have right here. This connects from your motherboard to your power supply. So we got to get a longer one because it has a stretch. We want my power supply away from the motherboard itself, so it fits in the same area but a regular power supply. But hit that. That's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna do. There it is, right there. Look at it. Look at it. Look at it. And we're gonna put a casing tube around it, like a nice little casing tube, so all that glows in the dark real nicely. All these are gonna glow. They're just gonna glow, baby. They're gonna glow. I'm like, Ken, are you insane? Who does that? Who does that? Everybody does that who likes to mod. Because we're modders out there, baby. We are modders. That's what we do. That's what we do. We can't leave anything alone. Modders can't leave Jack alone. That's what we do. We look at something like, oh, my stomach, I got to eat something. You're like, oh, I'm going to tear this thing up when I get home. Yeah, that's us at the end of the day, literally. Oh, this is going to look different when I get my hands on it. Like, that's insane. Who does that? My buddy was like, well, you just can't leave it alone. I did actually have one over here. PS4. I never touched it. The only thing I did was put those spikes on it and the skull on it with the freaking guns on the side. That's it. That's the only thing I did with it. It was to match my VR glasses. I ain't going. I ain't touch it. Nothing at all. Period. Not a thing. This one I'm going to take apart. Let me see. What the freak was I looking for in here? I kind of forgot what it was. Huh. Oh. PC thermos gauge. PC temperature sensor, baby. That's going into the PS5. That's so you can see my temperature in that baby at the end of the day. Ice cold. It's going to be freezing in that sucker. Yes. Freezing in that cold in that baby. Yes, sirree. Yes, sirree. There we go. I'm going to have this connected to my power supply. So, since we have a Molex system going in, that's going to allow us to control all our fans, because we can't use that with the PS5. We're going to put in our case for our power supply is temperature control to show you how cool it is in there for our power supply. And a little switch on it, a little LED fan in the front that's going to pop up. It's going to look so freaking cool at the end of the day. Man. We don't do anything normal. We never do. And people can sit there and go, oh, slobbering over it. It looks so delicious. I think it's going to look amazing when we get done with it. Look at that. That's going to be sick. That's going to be in my power supply box. I'm going to put the boot in. It's going to tell the temperature that thing's hitting. And the sensors are going to be right near the system to show exactly how much heat is pushing out. I'll drop that sucker low. 17 Celsius. Can we drop it to 17 Celsius? Can we do this? Can we do this? I'm all hyped up already over this. I love technology and messing around with it. 17 Celsius. 17 Celsius. Where's the veggie? Oil. Everybody got that 17 Celsius. That's right, baby. 17 Celsius. I did that already before. Yeah, I dropped the freaking temperature on a PC. We got it at 17. The highest I would go is 22. 22. Liquid cooling system. Vegetable cool system set up, a touchscreen fan controller, which basically speed up the RPMs. It would have a fan speed on it that would speed up the RPMs on our fans for our radiator system. We didn't use stock. We actually took them off and got something much faster. Look at it. Look at it. All made out of Tupperware. As a matter of fact, that same Tupperware container I got down there, I turned those into freaking computer cases. Because sometimes in the middle of the day, you just get bored. And you think you got to do something else. Radiator system right here. We got 2 sets of fans on the radiator system when I set it up. Usually it's always on one side, but we did 2 this time. So we did intake and outtake. And radiator in the middle keeps it nice and frosty. Usually people just put one. They put 1 fan at the top. But we got 2 on ours. Do a little experiment to see what would happen. This is a touchscreen fan controller. Basically, which controls my fans. Also, 2 speeds everything up. We got it also attached for the hard drive. And in here, we got the nice little block popped right over to our PC CPU. And we got it at a whopping, if I can get this in, you see it, 22 Celsius in the case. We got it at 17 at one point. But the highest it would peak to is 22. So imagine what the freak I'm going to do. I specialize in cooling systems for PCs. I'm going to freeze that freaking PS5. I want my minimum to be, I can get it at 17 in there, in that case. Because I'm going to modify that thing at the end of the day. Oh, yes, we're definitely going to modify it. Definitely going to modify it to work harder, better. Bam! 22, baby. 22. Yes, sirree. Yes, sirree. Now, this was running at the time a Pentium 4 hyper-thread that was overclocked. Yep, and had it at 22. Overclocked. Because that's what we do. We do the madness, baby. The madness. Hear my stomach growling? Time to feed the bear. Yeah. Digital one.
One of the things I like to do on my off time or pastime, besides designing HD screen paint, is building really cool computers. So what you're seeing here is, hold on, on the back a little further here. All right, so what you're seeing here is, this is my
We should dig up Sub-Zero.
submerged PC tank, and I know you guys have seen them all, but this one's a little different.
So they tell you can't put 2 fans on it. Yes, you can put 2 fans intake and outside. This is a radiator system right there. Look at that 22. Look at that 22. Look at this right here. Don't doubt my skills. That's steampunk. That's like I had two touchscreen fan controllers, an LCD panel that read across it said steampunk across it. All that custom paint job, all those pipes are basically being redesigned. I should redesign all those pipes for the liquid cooling system. Built that sucker. Everything on it. Everything hand painted. Everything. Even had a working clock on the side of it. I had to take the entire clock all apart, put it together, repaint it. I had to basically put on a kind of an antique kind of, it had a kind of a nuclear kind of look to it, but it was interesting. Yep.
Alright, so let's go back over together.
Yeah. Told you, man, we get it done. You know what this is going to look like when we get done with it? You have any idea what that thing's going to look like? It is going to look insane. When I get my hands on that PS5, yeah. That's why some people sitting there mocking me. You don't have a PS5. You don't have a PS5. Wait till you see what mine looks like compared to yours. But man, if I can get in, I'm gonna get me another one. I'm gonna get me another one for a complete tear down, because I'm tearing it down because I'm gonna see what I can really do with this machine. Can I really go in and look at this? 19. I got it at 19. So I'm still modifying the system. This is where you can see the PC running right here.
Hey, how you guys doing out there? Sorry about all the noise in the background. I got my
19%. Yeah, that thing, that steampunk, they call it the time machine. Everybody call it this time machine.
Everybody knows about this. This is a vegetable oil cool PC.
19.
Exactly what my CPU was coming in at 19 Celsius.
Yeah. I'm gonna freaking freeze the freaking PS5. Overheating issues. Yeah, right. We can conquer all that. Look at the madness, people. Look at the madness. This is when I was doing nothing. I was doing more PCs than screen paint. And what you would call me? You haters got nerve to call me dumb at the end of the day? Are you kidding me? Oh, okay, sure. That's why I sit and laugh at you at the end of the day. I was building my own cases. I got to a point I got tired of buying cases. I built my own. This is actually all made out of Tupperware.
Check it out. It took me a little over 2 months to build.
All the parts, everything, all made by hand. Windows XP. Remember I told you I got a buddy who rewrote the operating system. He thought I was joking about that. I got a lot of people that I know at the end of the day, I'm bending my nose to one side, that are really serious computer techs at the end of the day. I mean, very serious computer techs. I mean, they can literally work for the military. I'm talking about IQ techs. This guy rewrote the operating system for Windows XP. Yep. Another person who basically has a super high IQ, which basically, at the end of the day, you would think he'd be working for NASA, but no. That's why I had the conversation I was talking about. I know people with really crazy IQs that some people at the end of the day, I was like, well, you can be making tons of money, but it's not about the money for them. It's about being comfortable, and I can understand that. I respect that. But I think it's fascinating that they had that capability. I think it's awesome. Look how murky that thing looks on the inside. That thing looks pretty cool. It's supposed to be a nuclear waste tank, or it's just a reactor that went wrong and just basically everything went supernova. Look at the oil I had to put into that thing. Oh, they take a lot, man. They take a lot, man. I remember, man, when I was building the tank, and they knew I was building in the room, and the guy was like, "You're filling with vegetables?" I said, "Yes, I'm going back to get more." They would watch me walk past the store with like containers and containers of freaking vegetable oil. Man, I said, came back. I said, I finally got that thing filled. It took 5 of those to do it. 5 gallons to fill that thing. 5 gallons, man. There it is right there. So you see right here, this from the top and the bottom, you know those dispensers that you get when you put your ketchup and mustard in it? That's what they are. So basically, they're running these LED lights that allow it to give it the kind of like the nuclear radiation rods in there. Yeah. And you're going to sit there and tell me, Nacer, at the end of the day that I'm a dum-dum? Please. Please, you got the wrong person at the end of the day. I'm not trying to be rude here, but my IQ is way higher than yours. Trust me, it's way higher than yours.
What?
I got people who have IQs way beyond mine. I know them. I know them. They have IQs way beyond mine. And they're the most humblest, coolest people I've ever met on the face of the planet. Nice people at the end of the day. I would never ever be nasty with them and say, oh, my IQ's higher than you. No, not in a million years. They don't care. They teach me all kinds of stuff at the end of the day. I never walk in full glass because I can always learn something from somebody. But them jokers that come on my channel call me stupid at the end of the day? No, buddy. My IQ's way higher than yours. It doesn't just stop at screen paint at the end of the day. I'm involved around a whole lot of stuff I'm working into right now. So, no. If you know half of the stuff that I was building and designing when I was on YouTube before I was doing screen paints, it'll just blow your mind. Where's where's Sub-Zero at? Sub-Zero. Where are you gonna get the retro part at the end of the day? I have PCs that I built that I haven't even shown off on YouTube because I didn't even have a YouTube account. Built dozens and dozens of machines. Let me see. Sub-Zero. It'd probably be better if I just go to my account and find this thing. I'm not going to find it on here. So let me see if I can find Sub-Zero. So remember that guy was showing you that giant copper block that was sitting on top? It wasn't liquid cool. It was just this huge, massive block with a fan on it. I'm going to show you what I did with one of those. Let's see. Sub-Zero. PC. This is Sub-Zero.
Hey, for those of you who know my voice, I'm a designer of digital crystal screen paint, but we're not talking about the paint today.
So this is the copper block unit he was using. So mine has 2 fans. This one has intake and outtake with the copper block in the middle. So this is what you call a torture rack. So a torture rack is basically a PC where all the parts are out and exposed. They call them torture racks. And they wanted so much money for the torture rack, I wasn't going to spend it. So I built my own. So right here I have a but the video card cooler. There's my video card right there. Let me see what we got coming in right now. I'll get back with them in a few minutes. Let me put down. I'll call you back. This is the RAM we have right here. I found this RAM that had, I didn't have to mod this. It came this way. Oh no, sorry, it's yellow RAM, and I put the nuclear symbols on it. This is the motherboard. So the motherboard sits on these posts that are about that high. The entire case right here is made out of Tupperware. It's all Tupperware. These are gauges that you get from the store, you know, the kind for the turkey-based gauges and all that stuff. Yeah, and this right here is all basically what do you call it, like caulking, but this caulking is a little different. So basically I had to take a needle and I had to inject a kind of a high UV and glow in the dark, so when the lights would go off, all this would just glow. It could just high fluorescent glow and it would power off. So it was pretty interesting making this stuff, but it took a while, but I put it together.
My modded PC. I was supposed to show this off about a couple of.
And it does come apart. So I can basically lift the entire top off and I can get access to the power supply and everything I need.
Design look like it's keys to nice.
Keys to nice, baby. All the kill switches were put outside. And basically, when you get a PC, your kill switches are just the buttons. I had to actually solder and reattach a kill switch that would allow me to click it on and off. The one I have for the Xbox 360, I took an Xbox 360 and put it in the UFO case and remodified that. Actually, the Xbox 360 was actually running off a server board. You know, don't tell me how we figured that one out, but that was pretty cool to do. That allowed me to go in and basically change gamer tags and JTAG and all that stuff like that. And then I had it hooked up to a proxy server, which allowed me to mask my IP address. Because again, at that particular time in the Xbox 360, Microsoft was banning accounts like crazy. Not so much now, but they were really banning them like crazy. I mean, we weren't really doing anything like going into rooms, fan speed controller to speed up all my fans. Oh, real quick. So basically the motherboard sits on these stilts and there's two 80mm fans at the bottom. So they blow air right under the motherboard.
There is a fan controller that runs this fan right here. It runs at the back of this. This right here is
Two sets of fan controllers. So each one of the fans were actually on their own dedicated fan controller. I didn't want them both on the same fan controller. There's the power supply right there. So someone was asking me, like when I was doing it, do you have access? Yeah, I can disconnect anything. So it's amazing, so I can get departments and disconnect and get to this and get to that. There's the block system right there, as you can see right there. Oh, there's the Xbox 360 mod system over there. That's an Xbox 360 over there. Got tired of that thing red ringing on me. I actually dropped one in vegetable oil too, and it worked too. So this is what you do when you power it up. It looks like. Remember that UV I injected in there? Yeah, it looks like ice. Ice, ice, baby. Now stop. Yeah, that sucker was amazing. You know what happened to me? A friend bought it from me. He bought it. The steampunk, the PC I built, somebody bought that one too. Look at the case. Even the case was coated like ice, and it worked too. And that people say that worked. Yeah, it worked. Yep. Yeah, build some crazy stuff. Bum 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 bum. That's my digital and crystal screen paint. Xbox 360 and vegetable oil. 360, let's go with Xbox 360 vegetable oil. This is the reason why I record all this stuff. See all this stuff right here? I recorded all this stuff so I can go back into my archives and I can dig up stuff. Say, hey, I did this, I did that, I put that together, I put this together. That's why. When I do these recordings, we have people that are coming to the room, pop out of the room, come to the room, pop out of the room, and they feel that I have to have an audience to speak to. Everything we do is documented. That's why we have 11,000 videos. Whether you come in or not and watch, it's going to be documented. Because I like to go back and say, we did this, we did that, this is done, that's done. I can go in my archives and pull whatever I want. Because again, it's all about showing what we can do. If you come in to watch, hey, you come in to watch. If you don't want to come in, you don't come in. It's up to you, you know. But at the end of the day, it's going to be documented. Because I need it in my archive. That's why I can go back in and punch in Xbox 360 Veggie Oil PC because I designed it and I displayed it. Interesting. I was going to do that to the Xbox, but all the parts and stuff, man, I'm afraid I'm going to hit something. Now they put freaking hard drives into the case. Yeah, I might hit a hard drive. I didn't think it hit a hard. Matter of fact, the hard drive is on the motherboard. So yeah, that'd be a headache. If it was separate, I'd drop one in vegetable oil. Look up a whole case. Oh, it looks so sick. It really would. I'm still going to try to conquer that Xbox. It's a lot of parts. But I do want to do a green case with some nuclear design to it, liquid cool it, so it's got this bio coming in and out of it. Oh, I definitely want to do it now. After that guy, what he did, wow, that was beautiful. That was a beautiful job. That was a beautiful job. I love it when people do stuff like that. See what I mean? Because that basically pushes me to want to do stuff like that. That's an Xbox 360 and vegetable oil. And it ran too. And it ran for a very long time. Which had me thinking, all the 360s that I purchased and they burnt out on me, I basically could have did this and saved myself a ton of money. But I didn't think you could do it. There's a Tupperware unit. That's one made right there from Ice Boy.
Basically, I put a video demonstration on how to make the kind of like bio, kind of like a rusted paint job. It's pretty easy to do. And all the other parts you just found right around the house, or you can get them at the thrift store. And you can put your 360.
And does it work? Well, let's see. Fan's running. The controller is activated. Looking at the screen. That's when I have my ViewSonic short throw projector. And it works, yep. So the Xbox 360s can run under vegetable oil, which I'm thinking about just buying me another with an Xbox 360 and dropping it in vegetable oil. But I think I'm going to do it in a micro ATX case. One of the boards are probably like micro ATX case, micro ATX boards. That was the last console I built. Yep, that was the last mod. This is the last mod I did was the Xbox 360, and then after that I built the steampunk because I was walking away from console for a while. Just wasn't really happy what was coming up on console. Really wasn't. And this is me showing you how to build your own props. So this right here, this is all stuff you can find at a thrift store. I built that as parts and stuff that I found at a thrift store to be able to make your own props come to life.
This like a rustic container. This is my, I guess my bio.
Kind of fall out kind of design to it.
A mustard dispenser. Just putting some simple screws. This is the Catheron or whatever. Like I can't pronounce it. I'm sorry. I should know it. Add in
How to do your own paint job to give it kind of a rust, kind of aging look to it, like that kind of green copper look to it. Molex adapter hookup. So that same flashing effect is what we're going to do here on this PC. So this PC is going to have a whole like Mario Brothers, Smash Brothers design to it. It's going to have the Luigi and them going through pipes and stuff. And at the bottom, I'm going to have a flashing system set up like that because we're going to haunt the bottom of it for those ghosts that they have for Luigi's Mansion. Oh, it's going to look pretty sick. We're gonna have a little bit of everything on there. Pac-Man, a little bit of everything. It's gonna give it like a nice retro design. And I have an infinity mirror right there installed in there, which I can't wait to show that off. Yep. All right, people, I gotta go. Thank you for your time, and God bless you all. I got things to do, and yeah. But you know, it's kind of when you get people calling you idiot, like you're supposed to be stupid at the end of the day. Yeah, I'm the one with like almost 500 different forms of formulas we engineer, testing, and all that stuff. Yeah, we're the idiots at the end of the day. Sure. All right, whatever. But anyway, one thing I'm gonna show you real quick. See if we can find it, see if it comes up. Fans. I'm actually building me a fan. Oh, that's the 362. Look at that. That's the modified 360. That's the case. That's the one you saw. That's actually Sub-Zero. That's Sub-Zero when the first look at it, when I was actually working on the case to get it ready. And what you saw was the aftermath of what Sub-Zero looked like. But yeah, I was making it out of Tupperware. Took it out of Tupperware dish. Tupperware. This is my Xbox 360. Changed out the switches and everything. So basically, when I hit that kill switch, it would come on. But that's an Xbox 360 right there. Had multiple different kill switches. All that stuff had to be wired in and soldered. Had black lights, so everything would glow. Even modified the board in the Xbox 360. That fan it came with, no, we got rid of that.
Has a dedicated power supply.
Yep. Installed in a dedicated power supply for itself. So most people were slicing into the power supply for the Xbox 360. Not good, because it wasn't designed to do that. So they were burning out their system. So I had to put in a dedicated power supply to run my lights. You can see the white still working on it. Wires, gee whiz Louise. So many wires I had to run to this baby, it wasn't even funny. You try to figure out which wire is which when you're doing like a massive wire job. That's why I say when people are doing networking and all those wires back and forth, I like, look, man, I've been down this road for, but not on that level. Like, how the freak do you know what you're doing in that spaghetti monster massacre? It's crazy. Like, I did this one. This is the most heaviest wire job I've ever did on any form of, I'd just say PC or a console build. It was just a lot of freaking wires. Because mind you, we had to get a console system like a 360 to somewhat run like a PC. So there was a ton of work I had to do. I had to resolder the whole board to get this thing to work. And yeah, I was brand new out of the box when I got it. So I was terrified, like, oh, if I mess this up, I'm gonna break it. But got it to work. Had a touch fan controller on it, so I can control all my fans, which I'm a big fan of touch fan controllers. Yeah, that's the fan on the inside. So my fan on the inside even glows in the dark. My sucker was sick. Look at this. I built my own reactor, nuclear reactor, and it actually worked. This wasn't an actual nuclear reactor, but it's a prop for an actual nuclear reactor, and it all functioned. So yeah, it's what I do. It's what I do. It's what I do. It's what I like to do. Picture slideshows. That shows the massive wire job I had to do in that thing. Took it out, put it in a UFO case. So imagine with the technology we have now and the knowledge I have, what I'm going to do to a PS5. It's more than just basically just re-engineering the whole PS5, but basically adding some crazy sick to make it look absolutely abnormal. So the paint job that's going to go in that thing is going to be beast. It's going to have a fully cooly kind of design to it, but it's going to look like an ice box. I'm even going to change my kill switches. Next time you naysayers want to sit there and say at the end of the day that I'm stupid, yeah, think twice about that one. I engineer my own screen paint. I can develop any formula, anything we want, and I can build any computer that I choose. My Lord gave me that ability to do that. Not enough to be able to alter the machine itself, but to alter even the environment the machine sits in. Yeah, God is amazing, isn't he? You think that's crazy? I'm trying to figure out if I basically built this, the i9, I might build 2 of these because I'm a big fan of BioShock. I've been wanting to build this thing for a long time. I've been putting it off and putting off and putting off to build this BioShock. Not the one I did before. This is much bigger. So basically, the BioShock system that I want to build, and my friend's going to 3D print all my stuff that I need. We're going to have an actual fish tank in it. So it's going to have a 2 fish tank setup. You're going to have the first one, which is actually the vegetable oil cool setup, which is going to have in the Big Daddy, and it's going to have the world, you know, I forgot the name of Rapture, the world, all that. That's going to be right there. All right. And then that's going to be the PC and all the parts in there, disguised around that. Then it's going to be that's one chamber. Then there's another outside chamber. That's where the fish will be at, actual fish. They can't be affected by the tank. It's impossible. It's a whole different cube in that side. It would never even be to make contact. And even if it did, we put an emergency wall just in case, so it hits that wall before it even touches the fish. There's alarms, there's alert, all that, so the fish never get harmed. So when you look through that tank, you don't see the 2 shades of glass in there. You just see the world of Rapture, my PC running, and you see fish moving back and forth. Now over top, we're going to do a nice little seaweed system around it, and then I'm going to do the custom monitor. I was thinking about doing a monitor, but now since we do screen paints now, I'm going to do my custom screen, which we're going to give it a kind of rust up, kind of corrosion look, and we're going to put the whole BioShock, the world is yours, all that crazy stuff. That's what I'm going to design. That's my next setup. Now that screen's not going to have a projector in the front. It's not going to have an ultra short throw. That screen's going to be rear, and the projector is going to be built behind it in another compartment behind the wall. So when it turns on, it hits that screen and boom, it pops up. That's one of the projects I'm building right now. I'm putting that together in my head. It's going to be a crazy mod. So I'm thinking about right now, since I did get bit back with the computer bug again, the computer bug mod, I'm back in it now. I'm just thinking about all this crazy stuff I'm going to build. I am still doing my screen paints. That's never going to go away because we incorporated our screen paints into our PC builds. But I am going to go back into PC building. So I'm going to be building maybe I'm going to design me another website for our PC builds. And this basically is to sell technology that we're going to start engineering directed toward the whole gaming community. Maybe we just start something big from there with that. There's all kinds of stuff that we can do at the end of the day with this technology. And mind, this is going to involve ad tech technology. That's what we're going to incorporate into it. So, got a whole nother level now we're going to be working on. But I got to pace myself. We already got enough right now on the table. But I think somewhere around January, we start working on the ad tech gaming part. Because ad tech has gaming technology embedded into it for that purpose. Oh man, people, it's a lot, ain't it? It's insane, isn't it? That's why I told you at the end of the day that I can't see myself doing anything else. I know I talked about retirement before, but I can't. We just got way too much stuff we want to build. All right, people, be safe and God bless. Oh, and by the way, we're going to try to keep this technology extremely affordable for everybody. We don't want to do things like charging everything a ton of money. I'm trying to keep everything reasonable so we have something for everybody. Even the person who just makes minimum wage or a person doesn't make a lot, they can afford high-tech technology without them costing tons of money. This is the purpose of what we started to begin with. And we know we got people out there that don't like us, that hate us, that don't want us. It's going to happen. It's destiny. God's got it all set up for us to get it done, and we're going to get it done. All right, got to go, people. God bless.